Yeah.
That one. And all right, we're good now. All right, there we are.
Yo.
Yo.
You don't have like a thumbnail to put there? Just like a picture of you?
I tried to find
You don't
one.
have that shitty screen?
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't find anything to put up in the spot, and we're trying. We tried. We gave it a.
What's your address?
I was trying to send you an image. I don't know where to send it, but
Yeah.
can I send one to Matt and he post and you guys post it?
I think that might actually work.
No.
All right, let's do that. But meanwhile, let's keep the show going. Hello, everyone out there.
Yeah. Well, we are joined tonight by our guest, Mr. HT Coyote. How are you doing over there, bro?
HT Coyote.
Kind of sober. Occasionally listen to podcasts. Playing stuff on Steam. Trying not to go insane at the existential terror.
Yeah, that's why you got to not think about it. Because
I know, but it's kind of. I know I shouldn't think about it, but it's kind of hard not to think about how awful things are. When you're black in America.
Yeah, well, it's Joe Biden has promised to make life terrible for everybody more equally. So he's not going to improve anything. He's just going to lower everybody else down to the experience of black and brown Americans.
No. It's what I expected, but it's also like it's Joe Biden. Was anyone really shocked it was going to go this bad this quickly?
I mean, the cabinet's been, I don't know. Like they, you had some of the people, like some of the progressives that were like, I guess they felt okay with the chief of staff pick. It was like the best choice of a host of bad choices.
What's what they do is they float a bunch of terrible options, and then when they pick the least terrible option, it's like, yay, he did something good.
Yeah,
it's actually a little worse. It's actually a little worse than that. It's kind of like, okay, that's a bad analogy. You ever watch The Office, the American version, not the British version?
Yeah, and I saw a couple episodes of it. I'm gonna be honest, I never got into it.
What about you, Matt?
The British version?
No, the American version.
I saw, first couple seasons I watched.
Okay, here's how I figured out how American politics is.
I stopped watching it when they started getting when it was just they expanded it beyond just the people in Scranton. I just didn't watch any of the ones when it was all about corporate policy and all.
No, I get that part because the way I would figure American politics is us. We're like the guys who work in the loading bay, but Democrats are like Michael Scott. You see where I'm going with this?
A little bit.
We're like Daryl. And they're
we're like Daryl, the cool guy who actually has to, work his ass off, and no one respects us, even though we're clearly as smart as motherfuckers. And I'm trying to keep it together.
Well, I mean, those guys got the right idea. I think the people our age who went to college and took out all that money in loans and graduated, and there's just no job opportunities, and the ones that they have are just 35 grand a year, and you work 60 hours a week. It's if you didn't do some sort of STEM lord or coding or some hard science or finance.
Oh no, I agree.
No jobs.
I agree.
You spend all that money. Meanwhile, manual labor jobs, good union, repairman. I saw there's a meme Carl Bayer did last night that was the Virgin adjunct college adjunct and the CHED
I saw
elevator
that one.
repairman. Yeah, man.
I saw that.
So true. The elevator
is-
repairman makes like 115 grand a year, and has like good benefits, works 8 hours a day with a hour-long lunch break, and they retire when they're 60, and they have all their same they work the same job their whole life. They're never really in danger of being laid off or anything like that. And meanwhile, like all these college people are basically constantly struggling to not be fired, and like they're constantly trying to figure out like how they can pay you less, like what they can do to minimize your salary. It's just over and over again. If I could do it again, I wouldn't. If I could do it again, I wouldn't have gone to college.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tony, I sent you the image I wanted to use in the Twitter.
Let me see if I could get that on here.
Okay, but yeah, you're right about that, Matt, because it's like, and this is a bad joke, but it's an accurate one. But I remember all these conservatives, all these like weird, annoying boomers said, well, if you wanted a job that paid well after college, you should have got a job that paid well. And I keep having to remind them that the job field, in terms of what is viable to live even close to like them, is so fucking narrow for my generation, because you got to deal with seniority. So like upper positions that pay the way they're being paid is so fucking limited now that the only place you can go in and get entry and build up a pretty decent life is STEM stuff, and basically being an apparatchik for various political organizations that all want to end all human life on Earth.
Yeah.
And I always say to the boomers, when they always bring up people like Ben Shapiro, I always say, isn't it funny that the very image of, I guess you would say, does Ben Shapiro count as a millennial, or does he count as like late era Gen X?
I thought he's a
millennial.
Yeah, he's a millennial.
I think he's younger than me.
Yeah, how
or
old is
my
Ben
age.
Shapiro anyway?
Yeah, Matt, but no one can really.
He's not that old.
Yeah, Matt, but no one can really guess your age, because you have a very youthful energy to you, but you also look like you might have been in Desert Storm, so it doesn't really sync up.
Ben Shapiro's 36.
Oh God, that actually makes me feel worse, because compared to his younger sister, who's like literally 20, it's like,
yeah,
how did the genetics fuck up that bad in the same gene pool? Because don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be like every other leftist asshole online who's like saying, "Oh man, Abby Shapiro, she's fine as hell." No, she's not. She's as pretty as every other girl around. Stop doing this.
Yo,
like, stop.
What's going
She's
on, got some up in
a 6 at best.
Yeah,
I've seen people talk about her before.
Yeah, everyone is into her, and like I'm not. Like I said, she's a 6 at best.
Exactly. Like, Matt, I mean this completely out of respect. Your wife looks better than her. Why is everybody else?
Let's see.
Exactly.
Let's pull up Abby Shapiro really fast.
I posted the picture of her the other night because I was discussing this, and I weighed in.
I bring up Matt's wife as an example because I wanted to pull just the most random person out of my ass as an example of who looks better. That was the nearest one, so boo. You want me to pull out who I think looks better than her? Oh, easily. What's her name? Shit. Fuck, I'll just go with my default one. Either Naomi Harris from Pirates of the Caribbean or Susie Wacoma from Crazy Head. Either of those two look better than her to me. And I stand.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, did you ever see Enola Holmes, the new?
Is that Is that the Ethiopian Communist Party?
Let me see.
What is that?
I'm gonna pull it up really fast. Let's see. Abby Shapiro.
Here. I'll show you the good pic of her.
Everyone keeps bringing it. Everyone keeps bringing up that she has like nice boobs, and I'm just like, I don't care.
This is the only pic of her I've ever seen where she looked good.
I don't know, bro. Like she kind of
I
looks like my
defend
ex. Not even
you,
gonna lie.
Tony.
Like she looks like who, Tony?
She looks like my
Like,
ex.
Oh God. Tony, believe me when I say this. Please stop dating white women. Trust me on this.
Yeah, no. My ex was a very light skinned Hispanic woman.
Oh well.
Yeah, actually, I think my ex is
Wow.
probably hotter.
Probably.
But
I mean, you are in Texas, so it's highly plausible.
yeah,
I have never seen an ugly person from Texas who's, not white.
yeah.
Well, white.
Yeah, I don't know. They really simp over her like that. I mean, I don't like personally. I don't quite understand it.
Yeah, like I said, I've never met an unattractive person from Texas who is not Anglo. So
Yeah, I guess I'll take that one as a compliment, brother.
Motherfucker, you guys created Selena. You better.
Yeah, that's true.
You made one of the biggest pop stars. You made one of the biggest pop stars of the '90s.
Yeah,
Take a bow, goddammit.
Yeah, I mean that was like a whole thing, man. That was like you bring up Selena here. There's people still go crazy.
Well, yeah, because she made good fucking music.
I mean,
and also,
but like for us, it was even more than that, bro. Because she was, she was at Tejana from our region of Texas. Because there's several regions of Texas. So like the fact that she's from Rio Grande Valley, Corpus Christi, and then she would always come up here to go ahead and perform in El Paso. There's actually this line. There's a line in the movie.
Texas?
There's a line in the movie.
What's the part of Texas?
Hold up, let me tell you. So, like, there's a line in the movie, Selena, where they're like she's about to marry her husband, and then they're talking about going to a show in El Paso, and like I remember watching that in the theater, and at one point in the movie, she's like, "I don't care about El Paso," and we're like, everyone in the theater was like, "Hey,
hey."
You mean more to me. Like, you mean more to me than El Paso. Like, whoa.
No, I get it. I completely understand that. Because the closest I will ever come to feeling anyone mentioning the town I'm from, no one ever mentions Lansing because most people don't know Lansing exists, and B, don't know it's the capital of Michigan. Right. Everyone still assumes it's Detroit, even though we moved the capital of Detroit out, capital of Michigan out of Detroit during the War of 1812 because the British kept shelling it from the fucking river. True story, look it up. So we moved it to Lansing just so they wouldn't hit it. They were like, fuck it, put it in the middle of the state.
Let's see. We got this from the chat. Problematic crush thread. Let's see. Let's see this dude's work here. Hold on.
Oh,
problematic crush thread. This is gonna be interesting.
Okay, if I had to think of a problematic crush, that's gonna be hard.
Too, like, you have to like pay attention when he says it.
So, no, I agree because I finally saw what Andre looked like tonight, and I was like, "Wow, I will never
actually
at any point in my life."
You know who this is? I'm not sure.
Crystal Classic. She's from Maryland. They had a whole bit about her on a recent episode of Chapo where Amber talked about.
Yeah, when Amber was in too.
When they put Gretchen Whitmore on there. There you go, Gretchen Whitmore. I'd fight off white supremacists who try to kidnap her any day.
No. Let me tell you why. Fuck no. Let me tell you why that's bullshit. As somebody who had to literally clean up after this shit, because I used to work on the cleaning crew in the building where the governor is. I'm not going to go further than that. I will just say I used to clean in that building.
Look at that fucking simp. The top response.
Look at the top.
She's not really problematic.
She's not really problematic. I mean, Oh, and true. Dystopian Rob, what's going on with you, bro?
Oh, fuck that
You.
dude.
She's not hot.
Yeah.
She's not hot. I'm sorry.
She's not problematic. I don't know why. I mean, she's not. I mean, she's problematic, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, she's problematic,
but is she really
but she's
all
not
that hot? I don't know if she's all that.
She's
hot.
a shitlib, man.
No,
she takes
no,
all
no,
that
no,
money
no,
from the
no.
insurance companies.
No,
Well,
Tony. Let me.
Of course, Tomi Lahren.
Matt, let me tell you.
You know,
let me tell you
that
what.
one, she had to make the fucking list.
Let me tell you what Gretchen Whitmer is. As someone who's from Michigan, who she's my governor. Let me tell you what she is. She looks like Linda Carter if both her parents were white. That's what she looks like. She looks like Linda Carter.
Linda Carter,
Wonder Woman.
Oh,
yeah, but Linda Carter's.
Woman.
Yeah, but Linda Carter, I think like one of her parents is like Puerto Rican or something. I don't really remember exactly.
Well, let's see. From the chat, Ivanka Trump can probably get it.
No,
Yeah,
I can think it. Okay, no. I will simply
is this the hill we're gonna die on? Ivanka Trump's not hot.
I mean, I'm not gonna die on it. I mean, she's pretty hot.
I'm not gonna die on it. Okay, I won't die on.
She's not, and look at her.
Okay, I'm not gonna die on that hill, but I won't die on that hill, but if I see the tank within line of sight, I'm getting the fuck out. That's the best I'll give you. I'll shoot, but if you bring a tank, I'm fucking gone. That's the best I'll stay on this hill. You know why? Because you know who I think looks better than Ivanka Trump? Tiffany. I said it.
What? Whoa!
I said it.
You're gonna have to go through Matt Gaetz to get to that.
Yeah.
I will fight him. I have literally gotten in fights with Proud Boys. I'll fight him.
You'll fight over Ivanka. Let's see Ivanka really fast.
Wait, are you saying fight over Tiffany?
Yeah, yeah. You'll fight over Tiffany?
No.
Let's go to Ivanka.
Hold on.
Really
I'm gonna have to reverse on that.
So
I made it a rule never.
Yep, Ivanka. I mean, objectively,
Ivanka's pretty.
She's pretty.
Ivanka's pretty, but she looks like every white woman at my day job currently that gives me shit. So I am not going to cape for her. Tiffany's cute, but Tiffany's cute because Tiffany's like closer to my age, I think. So that's probably what it is. But at the same time, I made it a rule. I'm not fighting for her because I've made it a rule never to fight for white women ever again in my life. Ever.
Well, that sounds like that sounds like that comes with some history, bro.
Oh, it's really has a lot of history, but it's basically like, if I had to sum it up, imagine Scott Pilgrim versus the World, but instead of it being video gaming in terms of its fighting everything, replace that choreography with like the choreography from like Old Boy, and you have the idea of why I don't fight for white women anymore.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I am.
Let me see if I can find a good picture of Tiffany.
I have a limp because of fighting for a white woman. No, I am not doing this shit anymore. I'll fight for a black woman, no problem. Her ass, no.
Let's see. Let's go to Tiffany Trump really fast here. I think I have a. There we go, Tiffany.
After we look her.
I don't know,
Tiffany's. Okay, let me explain Tiffany to her.
All right.
Tiffany looks like most of the girls.
Good there.
Okay, let me explain Tiffany. Tiffany is attractive to me not by an objective standpoint. It's more a matter of familiarity. See, I live in East Lansing, which is, around MSU. There are a lot of girls who look like Tiffany. So really, this is just more like I see women like you all the time. So my brain is just used to it. So it's like...
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably put Tomi above Tiffany from.
Yeah, Tomi Lahren's fine.
Okay, Tomi Lahren does nothing for me. Tomi Lahren does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing.
Let's keep going down this thread here.
Like Candace Owens, for as much as she pisses me off, does more for me than her. I stand.
I gotta admit, Candace Owens is she's kind of pretty, but
Candace Owens looks like Candace Owens looks like every girl that I have gotten in like knockdown, drag out arguments with, and then later had a pregnancy scare with.
I don't know who's this one.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't recognize that one. Yeah, I'll be real with you. I don't recognize that one.
Who is that? Let me see.
Let's see.
Oh, I don't know. Is that
I'm gonna guess by the thighs that she's Italian. That's just my guess. Boo! No. Whoever put up Blair White needs a banana thrown at them.
No.
Throw fruit at whoever picked.
I don't know who she is, but yeah, I mean, I guess
Blair White. She's this weird conservative trans YouTuber that used to be
Nazi.
So she's like a trans Nazi.
I wouldn't go as far as saying Nazi. I would just say asshole right winger, because I have tiers for how I rank right wingers. Like, it's like you can be like a.
Let's see who.
Huh?
Let's see who we're talking about. Kim Iverson.
I know. Who the hell is that?
You don't know who that? I know. At least I know that one. Kim
Iverson.
I used to follow her on her YouTube channel for a while.
I have no idea who she is.
Now, isn't she?
She's not.
Okay, I don't.
Let's see.
Okay, on the Blaze
got
now.
the women weighing in here with Dan Crenshaw. I guess they like the.
Okay, let me just say this right now.
The pirate look.
No.
Let me just say this really quick about. Let me just say this about Dan Crenshaw.
His son got in big trouble for saying he wanted to fuck him in the eye hole.
I don't understand that kind of fetish.
I remember with Hassan when he used to do the promo.
Trouble.
Well, Hassan
so
when he
he
used to do
deserved 9/11.
Yeah, that's when I remember he got in trouble for that. He even talked to Jenk on the main show for that one, but. He's like,
here's the thing.
He used to do the promo for the rundown though, and I remember during that promo that he would do, he would always talk about Tomi Lahren, like, Tomi Lahren, stop talking, just take your top off. And then eventually they pulled that off.
Okay, here's the thing about Hassan. I will say this about Hassan in earnest. I don't care how you feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Hassan is an understandable problematic fave because he is an objectively attractive man. I still have a thing where I want to, if I could ever get the money and time to set it up, I want to set up a GoFundMe and to pay Hassan to have sex with Ben Shapiro's wife. Because he can do it in a very short frame of time.
Wow.
Come on. Come on. He can pull it off.
I don't think that would happen.
Oh, come on. She doesn't look that bad.
No, I'm saying I don't think she would do it, man. I think they're pretty serious about their religiosity.
I like this comment though. Why is everybody's problematic crush for white reactionaries?
Exactly. Thank you.
This isn't Tom Brady? He looks kind of like Tom Brady.
Who?
I don't know. That's
that congressman from North Carolina, that Madison Crawford or whatever.
Oh, I have never heard of him. He looks like
I don't know.
He has this Tom Brady thing going on.
Yeah,
I don't know who that. Yeah, I don't know who that white guy is, but he looks like you shouldn't leave a drink open around him.
Yeah, I think he was like 22 or 23 or something.
What? No, who put this? No.
What?
Betsy DeVos?
No. I fucking hate her, man.
Fucking Cruella DeVos. No, man, no.
I feel like they're just trying to be as extreme as they can.
Tony, stop right here. I have to say something quickly about Betsy DeVos.
All right,
please say this really quick.
All right. We'll jump back to this thread.
Betsy DeVos is literally a descendant of a satanic oligarchy family from my state, the Prince family, who started the family.
Wait. We were talking about Prince last night.
Oh wait. Are you getting conspiratorial on me already, bro? Or is this?
This is not conspiratorial. This is not conspiratorial. This is all proven. I'm too sober for this.
Diamond and Silk. Diamond and Silk on the list, or you go from the chat weighing in on this? Diamond and Silk. No.
First of all, if you would have had sex with Diamond and Silk, I want to see your.
What do you mean, like at the same time?
No, if anyone wants to have sex with Diamond. Hold on.
I'm trying to remember them. I can't. All I can picture is that meme that they made of Tina Turner, Brie, like you talking about the shit libs.
Yeah, I want to say this
with,
about
their faces on Diamond and Silk's body.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
will simply say this about Diamond and Silk. If anybody earnestly wants to have sex with Diamond and Silk, I'm left to assume that they still whack off the Miss Cleo videos.
Oh, you know, you're not. You might have an actual point there.
Yeah, if you want to have sex with Diamond and Silk, you whack off to D Collector, Miss
That's Diamond and
Cleo,
Silk.
a lot of Brown,
for point of reference.
Sky Black.
Yeah, that's
definitely
Gears or Nah. That there's a Diamond and Silk for you. I don't think they made the thread that you sent me though, bro.
God, get that image away from me. It reminded me of my fan reunion.
All right,
good.
Yeah, that's
we should do this Tucker story. What is this?
Hold on, let's keep going on this list. Let's at least get to the bottom of this. All right, so
I just want to say this really quick about Beth.
Let's see who else made it. Sagar made it. Sagar made it.
Who?
Sagar from Rising.
Sagar's good looking.
I have no idea. I have no idea who he is, but he looks
from Rising. Come on.
Yeah, man.
The Hill, Rising. No.
Yeah.
I'm mostly IRL when it comes to politics stuff, but with him, that guy looks like he steals girls' underwear.
Yeah. Look, Candace is she's pretty.
Okay, I'll say it again. Candace Owens looks like every girl who I've ever dated, gotten in arguments with, and then like a week later gotten a pregnancy scare from. I'm not lying. She looks like every ex I've ever had that happen, where we get in a long ass argument, and then
Michelle Melkin is forgot that from the chat. Michelle, I don't know who this is, but we'll look.
Okay, here's the thing about Michelle Melkin. Here's why I have to be kind of yes and no about it, because I can see the attractiveness to her, but her as a person gets under my skin so much that it makes me soft.
They're supposed to be problematic. They're supposed to be problematic ass people. So I mean, it sounds like she fits the bill in to a T.
Yeah, but I have this rule where, like, if your politics are just that unnerving enough to me that I just can't power past them, my body immediately shuts down, because it's like, think for the love of God.
There you go, Michelle Melk. Yeah, she's pretty. She's pretty. Like, I don't know anything about her politics, but she's pretty.
Oh, she's awful. She's awful. She wrote a whole book. No, she wrote a whole book defending the Japanese internment of the Philippines. Okay. Like, I'm not even joking.
Yeah, no, that's pretty damn problematic. But I mean, that's what we're aiming for. Man. We're aiming for problematic ass people that just happen to be good looking.
She's not even that pretty.
Okay, she was like, I think her politics are making her ugly in your mind.
Yes, they are. Because you know why? You know what she really looks. All Michelle Malkin really looks like to me is she looks like every she doesn't even look like she looks like every girl who goes to like MSU and has like shitty politics, even though their parents are clearly like oligarchs in China, which doesn't really add up. And then you find out they married like the whitest dude they could find, and it makes no goddamn sense. And when I say white, I don't mean like upper class, I might be a Kennedy, I might be a Rothschild white. No, I mean they'll fuck a dude from like Dansville, which is like 30 minutes away from here. You drive through that bitch. You want to know the last famous thing that happened in Dansville? It was back in the 70s when a woman named Francine Hughes was being beat by her ex-husband and raped by him, and she finally had enough of the shit and set him on fire in his bed. Rest in peace. She's a fucking hero to me. They made a whole movie about it too.
Yeah, let's see who else made the list over here. So we got Tulsi. My fault. There we go. Tulsi on the list.
I will never understand Tulsi. I will never understand how guys sip over Tulsi. Let me say this right now.
We should have to ask Nico House that one.
Okay, this is where I'm gonna say something legitimately problematic, and I know it, but I can understand why guys want to fuck Dasha for Red Scare more than her.
Oh.
Because Dasha's pretty. She's an asshole, but she's pretty.
Okay, let's see what we're talking about. Dasha.
Oh, come on. Everyone who's listening probably knows what I'm talking about. She cheated on Adam from Come Down.
I I can't. I don't know what her face looks like.
Let me go to her. She has this like Natalie Dormer thing going on.
Oh God, why did you have to make that reference? Ow. Sir. You didn't shoot anywhere vital, but I'm looking, motherfucker. Ah.
No, I mean, come on. She has that kind of. I don't know. Maybe. Right, let's see if
She's Belarusian. Let it go.
Let's
She's
see.
Belarusian.
Let's go. All right. Dasha.
Yeah. Like it's like I'm willing to cut you slack if you're closer to my age. Like that's my rule when it comes to who I find attractive. If you're closer to my age, I'll give you a few extra points. It's like, well, what if they're further out?
Right.
Then it depends on what. If they're black. If they're black and they're further from my age, then I'm a little more generous.
So where do you come down here on Kamala?
This is where it gets really uncomfortable. Because on one hand, I feel that she's an attractive woman. I get that. But at the same time, it's how do I put this without sounding incredibly creepy? On one hand, I find her attractive.
Yeah.
On the other hand, she has like the same energy as like pretty much every woman who's ever raised me. So it's kind of fucking with me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even joking. I'm not even saying that to be facetious. She literally has the same energy as my mom, both my grandmothers.
You know that's the thing.
All my great
I hear
aunts.
that from a lot of people that she has that mom grandma energy kind of thing going on with her, and like when she goes and does 55? Her when she does her shit, like, you know, excuse me, I'm speaking. You know, like it's just like full on mom energy shit.
Yeah, I don't hold it against her. I don't hold it against her. I just kind of count it as like, you know, fucking it's cultural familiarity. Like, I'm pretty sure you, Tony, have some women that's like that that everyone finds attractive, but you are like, I can't. She reminds me of a relative. There's got to be at least one or two women famous right now.
I don't. I mean, I can't. I gotta be honest. I have never had that happen.
But, it's okay. It's completely fine. No, it's
Joe
completely
Biden
fine.
on there.
Ew, no.
Yeah,
she looks like
Joe Biden. Young Joe.
Okay, Joe, I get. Jill, I can't ride with because Jill looks like every white woman you see in like cuckold porn.
Oh no. Well, come on.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Wait, what? Beyonce's problematic? Or who are they talking about?
Beyonce,
Jay-Z, or is this like a collection of problematic people?
Arch shit lib.
All right, let me just say this right now about all these people. Pull the picture back up. Pull it back up, please.
There we go.
I want to point this out for this. Okay, Prince Harry. He was just sort of like a dude, bro. He was basically, when he was in the British military, he was basically Dan Crenshaw, but less sociopathic. So I kind of can give him a pass, but everyone's like, "Oh my god, he married a black woman." Oh fuck you! You ever listen to interviews with him? He has the energy of every white guy who clearly likes, you know, non-white women, but not in the problematic way. Like, you know that like if you put 3 white women and like 3 non-white women, any variations in front of him, he'll be fine. His wife, she's pretty. She was on Suits, even though they had to like write her out in the most dumb way.
Oh, there you go. That's your boy, Matt. Hunter Biden. They want to fix.
Okay, this is where it's gonna be. Okay, this is where it's gonna sound really insulting. No, this is what I have to say about Hunter Biden.
All right,
Dad, I love you, but Hunter kind of reminds me of you. I know you do not do crap, but he has kind of your energy. I love you, but he kind of has the energy, is not like my dad now, but like the energy my dad had when I was like 8 or 9. You know what I mean? When he was like clearly still in his late 20s, like he was my age. Like he has the energy my dad had when he was my age. Okay, Sarah Palin. Okay, Sarah Palin. Let's just get this out of the way. Who's nailing Palin? That was an awful porno. I wish they had never made it. No, let me explain to you why without going too inside baseball. Because the only two people that were in it that I wanted
remember they made the porn parody of her, Matt, that nail impaling thing with that Lisa Ann.
Yeah, but it's like it's Lisa. Yeah, but it's like Lisa. Yeah. Actually, no, Tony. Not only was she in the Who's Nail Impaling thing, but Eminem decided to put her as Sarah Palin in the video.
That was We're the
also
Ones That Made You.
Yeah, also Trisha Paytas was in it for some reason. I don't fucking know. But the thing I will simply
Paul. Sorry, go ahead.
The thing I will simply say about the Sarah Palin porn parody is this: of all the people they put in there that were worth parodying, the only two stars I want to see was Nina Hartley, comrade Nina Hartley, because she's a known socialist, as Hillary Clinton, and then the classic herself, Jada Fire, as was it Condoleezza Rice? Who the fuck did they have her play? The important part was Jada Fire was there. It's always fun seeing Jada in anything. It's like, hi Jada, good to see you. And of course, Nina Hartley, who's literally been doing porn since Jimmy Carter was president.
Wow.
I'm not joking.
Let's see, man. They threw Gal Gadot on there.
God, why?
Is she problematic? Where was she problematic for?
Wasn't she in the
She's ex-IDF.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
So she's problematic.
Also, let me just say this about Gal Gadot.
Wait, is that the chick that you're talking about? The Dasha? She looks similar.
Where is she?
No. Dasha would never wear her hair that terribly.
That's fucking Gun Girl.
That's Gun Girl.
Yeah, Gun Girl. Gun Girl is I like to call her every white girl I dated back when I was 23.
Oh no, Neera Tanden.
No way.
Why?
She looks like so.
Oh, come on. Can we get some feedback in the chat for Neera Tanden?
Oh, man, I like that guy, too.
Come on.
Can I just say this real quick about Neera Tanden? The reason why she's very uncomfortable for you to look at. I want to make this clear. This did not happen to me. This happened to an old friend of mine who I no longer talk to because he's dead now. But I had a friend who basically was sexually assaulted by a woman who looks like Neera Tanden when we were in high school.
Oh, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's why it's uncomfortable to look at her ass. It's like, you raped my friend. Get out of my face.
Oh, damn.
You awful human being. Go now.
Yeah, Neera Tanden, damn. Yeah, not my cup of tea, but all right. Marianne Williamson on the list.
Okay, I'll give them that one. I can completely understand Marianne Williamson because she has a very soft, calming voice. She kind of reminds me of Debbie Harry and Videodrome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Gita. Wait, what's her name again?
What's her name? I don't know her.
She was on Jane the Virgin. I always fuck up her name, but I know who she is, and she is pretty to me. But then you remember like. Bitch, she looks like every other Mexican chick who grew up in the Midwest. That's why you find her attractive. No, I'm not kidding. Ethnic groups that are raised
Gina
in
Rodriguez.
a place Gina Rodriguez. If you would talk to her, you would immediately realize she's not from your end of the country.
Oh, look who made the list, Matt. This is funny. There we go.
Yeah.
Amy Coney Barrett. No.
Nice.
Well, if you wanted honesty, that's all you had to say. I never wanted to let you.
Look at they put it up.
I think don't judge me.
All the dirty looks, the photographs.
You know that's a pun too. Don't judge me, really.
I'm not okay.
That's funny.
Adam Driver on the list.
I bet his dick's big.
You seen that bit that they did on John Oliver about him?
I refuse to watch John Oliver. If I wanted to abuse myself, I would,
Oh, come on, that was great though. That whole bit because he has this running bit about Adam Driver on his show.
Okay, let me just say this right now, and I know it's going to be a little bit controversial.
Mm-hmm.
John Oliver is a long purveyor in what I like to call the history of British people not being funny. Like, the only funny British people I've ever seen do it consistently is like Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, the Monty Python crew, Terry Gilliam.
What Ricky Gervais is funny as fuck too.
Fuck him. He's not funny. He's not funny.
I laugh my ass off at that dude.
I would kick
pull
kick
up this
Ricky
thing.
Gervais in the balls.
Wait,
I would do to him what all the old leadership of Sinn Féin wanted to do to his relatives.
Let me pull up that John Oliver thing. This shit was funny as hell.
Driver, demolish me. Crush my larynx, you unwieldy boulder. Explode my... Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
Hey, John.
Oh, wow. Adam Driver. Can't believe you're calling.
Oh, good. Listen to me.
Yep.
What the fuck are you doing?
Excuse me?
This bit.
Right.
This bit. This thing you've been doing that's either sexual or violent.
No, I like to think of it more as a little column A, little column B.
This strange bit that for some reason you pulled me into.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? When you first started doing it, it was easy for me to shrug it off.
Especially with those shoulders, I bet.
But then it kept going on and on.
I bet you could shrug off a whole planet with those meat peaks.
And on. Stop talking.
Right.
Do you realize, over this past year, what you've asked me to do to you? Collapse on your chest. Yeah. Tie your fingers in a square knot. Yeah. Step on your throat. Shatter your knees. Pull you. You realize we're strangers, right? I don't know you. And now random people on the internet stand us, right, claiming that you thirsting over me is a mood.
You're right, Adam. I get it.
I'm sick of people stopping me on the street and asking me if I'm going to punch a hole in you like a Marriage Story wall.
That's completely fair. Yep.
And you know what? You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes.
Because you know this was inappropriate, right?
I do.
But just from the beginning, you were just like, what?
I was having some weird fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now you're what?
I'm America's naughtiest bitch.
Sure. But more importantly, you're...
6 feet of nasty, spankable bird meat crammed into a suit?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'm trying to get you to say you're sorry.
Right.
Jesus Christ, you deeply weird, small thing.
I'm sorry, Adam. I'm truly,
all
truly
right,
sorry.
all right. I'll
Consider
tell you
this
what the
bit
location
over.
is. Just
Done.
turn it off. God damn.
Okay.
Turn it off.
It's fine.
All right.
Huh.
All right. That's enough.
Good God, I'll tell you the courtesies. Just turn it off.
That's enough, John Oliver. Okay, sorry. That was
Okay,
that
few
was
points.
hilarious.
Okay, few points I want to make about this whole thing. Number one, why does Adam Driver have perpetual dad voice? That's point number. He has perpetual dad voice. Point number two, I find it kind of somehow insulting that he's kind of playing gay for a joke. I'm not sure how that's offensive, but I'm sure it's got to offend somebody. Like, somebody's got to understand how that's offensive, right? Anybody? Yes, no, maybe so. Anyway, moving on.
I don't know. Oh wait, how is she on this list? She's not problematic at all.
Who's on the list? Who's on the list?
There we go. Let's pull her up.
Okay, can I just say this really quick about AOC?
Sure thing.
I get that people find her pretty, but it's also like, again, she looks like pretty much every other girl my age, because we're all around the same age. Like, Matt, I'm assuming you're somewhat older than me. Tony, you've got to be around the same age as me, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so she looks like every other girl around our age. But it's also like, yeah, I get she's pretty. I just don't understand the thirst. Now, if you want to talk about somebody who I do legitimately think is an attractive woman in politics, oh, easy. Ilhan Omar, no problem.
What about her? I think AOC's hotter than Ilhan Omar.
Yeah.
I think Ilhan Omar is a more attractive woman. I stand by this. I will not be moved.
Yeah, I'm side with Matt on that one. But
yeah, dude.
All right, let's see what you sent me over here, Matt.
What?
From Brianna Joy Gray? You messaged me something?
Oh.
Okay, Brianna Joy Gray. Oh God,
oh yeah. I mean, she's not problematic though.
Yeah, no, she's probably.
I sent you a bunch of stuff, but we can go into it. I mean, we're ready to start getting into stories, or you want to keep talking about problematic crushes?
No, we're good. Let's go. Let's talk about some stories. Let's see what we can talk about.
Before we leave the problematic crush thing, I want to make one quick thing about this. I want to make a quick public service announcement. Can we please stop treating the movie Race, the one about was it Jesse Owens at the 1934 Olympics, as a sort of like big triumph of telling the story, because he was the only good person in that whole story. Also, the reason I tie it to the whole problematic crushes thing is
you have a problematic crush on Jesse Owens.
No. That's not why I'm tying it.
What is that? How is that?
I'm going to tie it in.
Okay, let's see how you tie it in.
The reason I bring it up in the problematic crushes is I hate how that movie completely whitewashed Leni Riefenstahl.
Okay.
By the actress they got to play her being way too attractive for what she really looked like, and B, that they pretended like she wasn't like a full-on Nazi propagandist.
Right.
Yeah, she knew what she was doing.
Okay, see that sounded dirty, Matt.
Matt. Come on now. The safe word is proletariat.
She knew what she was doing. Yeah, I see what you're doing there, bro. You ain't fooling nobody.
Who, Lenny?
Lenny wasn't even that pretty.
Right.
Stop normalizing her.
All right, let's see. Let's go into one of these stories.
I want everyone to shit on her the rest of her life.
Did you see the shit with Pompeo?
Pompeo
visited a settlement in the West Bank today?
No.
Holy fuck.
No,
man.
but
let's see.
Into the settlements, into the illegal settlements.
Hold on. Let me pull this up. Let's see.
Visited.
There you go. Secretary Pompeo. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. The U.S. is committed to countering the global BDS campaign as a manifestation of anti-Semitism. Really?
That's that shit we were talking about last week with Corbin. How they're trying to push that new definition. Right. Anti-Zionism is they're trying to make that the new definition. If you criticize Israel, you're being anti-Semitic.
Seriously?
That's what they're trying to do. Read the fucking thing. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism.
Wow. Okay.
I want to say this really quick.
He went to the West Bank. He went to the occupied settlements. He went to the illegal settlements, went to a vineyard. And look at that other one I sent you with that. There's a little clip we can watch. He said they can label products from the West Bank. They can label them as being from Israel. Like that's bad, man. That's a very dangerous precedent. That's completely just erasing the distinction of Palestine versus Israel. Like
I want to bring up
he's trying to criminalize the BDS movement, right? That's the other thing. So like he's trying to confuse it because that's how the people can do BDS because stuff is labeled if it's from the settlements or not. So he's trying to change the law so it's not. So everything is just labeled from Israel. This is fucked up, man. Like we're gonna have
3 things.
It's gonna be hard to push this back. Especially with that new thing where they're going to treat anybody who supports BDS or anybody who criticizes Israel as anti-Semitic is going to make it even harder to change the narrative.
All right,
put that clip on.
Here we go. What was you had 3 things though, bro? HT.
Okay, number one about Mike Pompeo. I'm not wishing death upon him. I just wish one kid in that Palestinian settlement hit him with a rock. Nothing to kill him.
In Minecraft. No.
Yeah, in Minecraft. Parody. In the game.
Him in the head in Minecraft.
In the game.
He's a fucking psycho, and I think it's fucked up that we haven't normalized people like Pompeo can be treated as if they're not absolutely insane.
Right.
You know? He's like 10 times fucking evangelical. He does all this shit for Israel because he's setting up for the end times. He thinks if they get all the Palestinians out of Israel and they return the land to God's chosen ones or whatever, it'll set up the end days, the great, the 144,000 or whatever.
Let's see.
4 things. This is a thing I want to add to it. You mentioned the whole like end times thing. Okay, this is me bringing up a old meme that should be dead but keeps getting brought up every now and then. It's like, what if God told you when you got to heaven and you were like, God, I'm here for the rapture. And God said, nah, nigga, I remember slavery.
Yeah. I was actually
Like,
thinking the same thing about Pompeo today.
Get your ass to the pit.
Yeah,
It's like,
I was thinking the same thing.
I got the Israelites back to Holy Land. Bitch, we know what you
Yeah.
did with everyone else. Like I want just God to look down and be like, but we got the Israelites back to the Holy Land. Bitch, the Ottomans were nicer to them than you. Which leads me to my next point that I hate how everyone says whenever you comment on, basically human rights violations coming from the Israelis against the Palestinians. They try to say that it's anti-Semitic. No, I keep telling them all the time, I do not care what God you pray to or how you pray to your God. My problem is not your religion. My problem is how you treat the fucking people who live next to you. And if we're going down the list of people in just that part of the world who are the biggest human rights violators, let's be very, 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 very real. You aren't even in the top 3 as far as like who's the worst in terms of human rights violations of countries that exist in that region of the world. If you want to talk about who's way more evil than you, easy, Turkey. Turkey has tried to genocide literally everybody who's lived in their land who's not them. Ask the Armenians.
Here we go. Yep. So, just from the chat really fast from YouTube, the moderates and the Labour Party and the Tories set the groundwork for this. Always look to England for the new right-wing trends like this. They hammered Corbyn
talking about it the other day.
Relentlessly about his anti-Semitism because of his support of Palestine. Yeah, I mean that's really what
First
it came
of all,
down
let
to.
me. This goes to another thing I wanted to say is my last point about the whole thing. Right. I hate how so many pro-Zionist people in the West are so pro-Israel, yet we all know full well that the Americans have been pretty much funding fascists, just straight up Nazis in Eastern Europe, and pretty much since the Cold War with Gladio and shit. So there's that. And also, can we all just acknowledge that the British have no room to talk this? They kind of caused this whole bullshit in Israel, because everyone doesn't understand that the reason why Israel has only existed since 1945 is because when both ethnic groups were constantly on the run because the Nazis or whatever random Hungarian collaborators were trying to kill them, were hunting them down every which way, cue yakety sacks. When the war finally ended and they needed to put these two people back in their lands somewhere because pretty much they had everything they had destroyed, the British were the ones that wrote up the treaty about who got to stay there. But they basically wrote up the same fucking treaty for both sides and pretty much said, you guys figure it out. They literally hit the Palestinians and the Israelis with the Frankie Lyman routine. I'm not bullshitting you. And for those of you who don't understand the Frankie Lyman routine, please go look up the movie Why Do Fools Fall in Love. It is an amazing movie.
Yeah,
it stars
that was a great movie. Lawrence Tate, right?
Yeah, Lorenz Tate, who, despite this movie being made in 1996, now still looks the fucking same.
Yeah,
seriously,
no
shit. Seriously, let's go to
the clip that Matt wants to pull up here.
Same thing on the same day. Macron does that other shit, dude. Macron issued that statement.
That's one other thing.
Let's do that next. Let's hit this part first.
All right, listen.
We'll get to that.
So this was in Palestine at a winery, right? Yeah.
What the hell's going on here?
They're protesting the visit from Mike Pompeo at a vineyard.
I don't blame them. I'd protest too.
Tell the Americans, when you drink that wine, you are drinking the blood of the Palestinian people. And the smell the aroma you have, it's the smell of the sweat of the Palestinian farmers.
Wow.
That's fucking unbelievable.
Pompeo's visit is unprecedented. It makes him participant in a war crime of illegal Israeli settlements on occupied Palestinian territories in violation of international law. This is an encouragement to the settlement building plans, an encouragement to incremental annexation of the occupied Palestinian territories.
He's not wrong.
Said Pompeo said last year the U.S. no longer considers Israel's West Bank settlements, contrary to international law. Damn.
They 100% are.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah, but here's the thing about the whole settlements thing that no one considers is that everyone's like, why is everyone on their side? They have a right to defend themselves. Okay, for somebody who's been following what's been going on, can I please explain very simply what the hell's going on here? What is actually going on here is it's not even the military itself taking land. It's literally ex-military settlers who have surplus from the military and the grace of the Israeli government saying, well, we're taking this land now. We're going to set up some shitty houses. Fuck you. And they're like, you can't do that. Bang! Anyone else would argue? That's literally what's going on. They're doing to them what the white people did when they came to the United States.
Damn. That whole departure though of international law. I mean, it goes to to this story that I was checking out earlier, where Trump's team looks to box in Biden on foreign policy by lighting too many fires to put out. So, what I had thought, since they know they're on their way out the door, is they're gonna do the presidential equivalent of just taking a dump all over the White House. So they're gonna do some shit to fuck up.
Trump. See, they could do that, but this is Trump we're talking about.
Right.
Like, Obama could have easily done this on the way out to Trump on the way, but then Trump would have spun it on them. But here's the problem with Trump trying to do this on Biden. One, you have to account for the fact that Trump is wildly incompetent. Like, when I say wildly incompetent, I don't mean that just to be facetious. I mean that man is so woefully incompetent, not just as the president, just in terms of his business affairs and everything, that if I wrote this down and sent it back to 1993, Harvey Weinstein would give me a movie deal. That's how bad he is.
Yeah, no,
he's like, this is brilliant.
Yeah, reality is stranger than fiction now. Like, world is so fucked up. The occurrences in the past, the whole Trump presidency, but especially the last year, have been like, if you wrote that in a script, they would tell you it was too ridiculous. It was too unrealistic.
Yeah.
No, Harvey Weinstein would give me a fucking movie after that.
So,
granted,
President Donald Trump's order of further withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan and Iraq is the latest foreign policy move on the growing list in his final weeks of office that are meant to limit President-elect Joe Biden's options before he takes office in January. And do you think that was the motivation behind him even doing that small withdrawal? Because, I mean, it's a real small... I mean, it's not even that major a shift.
Think that's different. I mean, we talked about that last night. Yeah. I think the troops is slightly different. A little bit more complicated, but it's in the same agenda.
I will say to you, like I said to Steve Cox, you know what I'm talking about on Twitter. I'll say to you, is like, hopefully the Afghanistan war ends the same way the Vietnam War ended. It's just mad Marines flying out into the Persian Gulf, hanging off a helicopter while dancing "Machine" by the Jackson 5. No, that's literally how the war ended. That's literally how
it's going to happen, though.
No, that's literally how the Vietnam War ended by the account I heard from a veteran of the war. He said, that's literally how I left that fucking war. As I hopped on a helicopter with all the other Marines, and somebody played Dancing Machine by the Jackson 5. And my black ass was hanging off the side.
So,
because we all wanted
to leave. It's already different, though.
So, I mean,
we were leaving Vietnam, we were being chased out,
Yeah.
Like, this is... where the country is just dominated, and they're not doing anything there. Like, their only reason they're there is to protect the American business interest.
Yeah. Besides, if America were to leave Afghanistan right now, I could guarantee you one good thing would come from that, aside from all the obvious things that we get, less dead soldiers and whatnot. But I can tell you this much: they leave Afghanistan, no government around there, the price of the brick is going to go the fuck down.
Well, okay, so
mark my words.
So this was a number on the
production has gone up and up and up since we took over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the opium, like they weren't. It was mostly in China before the Afghanistan war, right? In the 21st century, since 9/11, and we have invaded Afghanistan, they've taken the lead in terms of opium production. It used to be China, now it's them
that
by
we
a long
know.
shot.
China
We
probably has like.
encouraged it.
Yeah, but China probably is not worried because China's probably like, man, fuck all this. We got like a whole ass greenhouse in Tibet. Fuck y'all.
Like we know how to find it and destroy it. Like we can do it. We have surveillance on every square inch of the country. Like we could definitely go in there and get rid of the opium if we wanted to. We're not, because they're in cahoots with the fucking international drug traffickers too, right?
I agree, but this is where I'm gonna go a little bit nerdy in terms of what I thought of when you said the whole we watch every square inch. You know what my mind immediately went to?
Butt stuff.
No, not this time. Do you ever see the movie GoldenEye?
Yeah.
Remember in GoldenEye when they first
been a while.
Remember they go on GoldenEye. Remember they go on Cuba for the first time, and Jack, the CIA agent, the fat guy, shows up in the plane. He says, "Huh, you're looking for a giant satellite? Doesn't exist. You can't light a cigar on here on Havana without us seeing it." And then they go way into the jungle after Zania tries to kill them, and they find out, oh, they buried it underwater. I was like, you know what? Classic. This is classic James Bond bullshit.
So
I'm confident they're not
on the troop withdrawal though. I mean, they're gonna leave 2,500 in Afghanistan, 2,500 in Iraq. So they're really just withdrawing 500 troops from Iraq and then 2,000 from Afghanistan, and leaving 2,500 in each of those countries.
Yeah,
it's mostly about the
you know
optics.
when they. Yeah, but you know when they say we're going to withdraw troops, you know the bullshit they're going to pull. They say, yeah, we're withdrawing troops, but when they say they're withdrawing troops, they're not going to withdraw anyone from the front line. It's going to be like mad Marines and
There
Army
are
there.
no front lines, man. It's just like company towns. The troops are just there to protect the American businessmen who are there, to protect the contractors and the other people who are setting up like fucking Applebee's and Old Navy and shit.
Oh God, Applebee's, that's awful.
So I give him credit for this though.
Like this one, though.
People were saying he doesn't deserve any credit for this, but I think he does, because he's had pretty much every single person in Washington, aside from like a handful, has shat on him for this, right? Every single person has tried to convince him not to do it, and he's sticking by it. So, I mean, I give him props for that, right?
So
Tammy Duckworth was against it.
Yeah,
Tammy Duckworth was against it.
We talked about it last night, so I don't want to go into it too much, but
okay. Well, on this front though, this was a United Arab Emirates. The Trump administration authorized $23 billion in advanced weapon sales to them.
Yeah.
Oh God, they're gonna sell them bullshit, aren't they? They're not gonna sell them anything good.
Yeah, and
like
here we go. There was the Israeli settlements. Mike Pompeo.
Like you can tell how well Americans were.
Here, read that settlements section.
All right, let me pull this up here. Here we go. Yeah,
Biden's not going to reverse any of this stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing too. He's gonna create all these fires, I guess, that are gonna be there internationally, and then he's not gonna do anything with
He's trying to make it hard for him to get back in the Iran deal too.
Yeah, so that's settlements in occupied territory regarded as illegal under international law, though Israel disputes this characterization as the West Bank. Pompeo laid the groundwork for this planned visit last year when he scrapped a 1978 State Department legal opinion that declared the settlements inconsistent with international law. Damn.
They definitely are. They know they are too.
There you go. More than 1,600 new settlement homes in East Jerusalem, which he strongly condemned. Biden condemned. Damn.
You know what this all is going to end up being? You know what this all is going to end up happening with him trying to pull this bullshit on the way out? He's going to try and pull this out, but he's going to forget one big thing, that Biden's team around him, including his VP, is way more competent than Trump. So they're just going to, within a week or in a very relatively short amount of time, just sweep this whole thing under the rug. And he's going to be like...
I think they know what they're doing. Come on, finish that section. I want to see what else they say.
Okay. The president-elect is unlikely to change other norm shattering steps by the Trump administration, including moving the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. They're just gonna leave them, she said. You're not gonna undo everything. This is what you just said. That's funny.
Yep, exactly what I said. This Yemen thing, he might undo the Yemen. Like he might get us out of the Yemen war. That might happen.
Maybe.
Doubtful, fucking doubtful.
And then
what did it say though?
And then where?
What's it say?
Where?
What's it say about Yemen?
It says
Pompeo has been pushing to designate Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels as terrorists despite pushback from State Department and UN officials. He may soon be successful, 2 State Department officials tell CNN, and if so, the move could handicap Biden's ability to develop his own policy in Yemen, because rolling back a terrorist designation is not easy, the officials said. Pompeo has received intense resistance from his own diplomats, who have discussed the matter with UN officials on the ground in Yemen. Both groups are anxious that a designation could upend the UN's work on peace talks in the country. There are also fears that such a designation could impact humanitarian aid deliveries. State Department officials said Pompeo sees the designation as part of the maximum pressure campaign against Iran and doesn't care if it puts Biden's team in a challenging position. This is just how this cast of characters works, said one State Department officials. Pompeo will do everything he can to make it hard for the incoming team. They're going to designate Yemen as terrorists? Because that's...
here's the thing. He's going to designate the Houthis. But here's the problem with this whole thing of trying to designate them as rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Does he not realize the last time we took a major, group of rebels in the Middle East and we decided to turn our backs on them? You know what happened the last time we did that shit?
What happened?
The Turkish army came in and started slaughtering them en masse.
No. I'm talking more recently. I'm talking
last year.
I'm talking further back. 9/11 happened is what I'm trying to say. That's literally how we got Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden was our allies we backed during the Afghan-Soviet war, because apparently the Americans were like, well, if they take over Afghanistan, they're just going to use the resources and come after everyone else. Never mind the fact that all of our fucking allies had already had several plans set up in case some shit like that happened. And the Russians know that if they went past a certain point, they'll use it against everyone else. Bitch, you realize if they even make it close to Scandinavia, they'll die? The Scandinavians aren't afraid of those motherfuckers. They remember the Winter War, motherfucker.
They, our State Department, the people who run our foreign policy, it's literally the worst people in the world. You couldn't, if you put characters like that in a movie, it would be unbelievable, just the kind of stuff that they've done over the past, since the Cold War and the period thereafter. Just every single country we've gone and just destroyed it, every single time we've been involved. It's I don't know, can you think of any instance where U.S. troop deployment ended up improving the situation in the country? Because I can't. Russia in the 90s, we just turned that country. It wasn't doing great under communism, but they made it the free market neoliberal hellhole. Chile, all over South America, all over the Middle East, all over Eastern Europe. I'm not following too closely what's going on in Africa, but I'm sure they're fucking shit up there. Indonesia destroyed it. Every single time they get involved.
I just want to point this out really quick. You mentioned South America.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to point this out. The fine irony. The fact that Brazil, a country who is one of our active allies but doesn't get enough credit for helping us defeat the Nazis during World War II, is now being run by a Nazi.
God damn.
Well, I'm not kidding. The Brazilians were one of our big allies. Well, too. It was just a bunch. People were like, no, they weren't. They sent troops after one of their tankers got blown up by a German U-boat. They literally got their shit blown up and went to the Pentagon with a list of how much does it cost to buy all these things, because they had a bunch of oil money. So they're how much does it cost to buy all this shit? And they're like, this, and this. All right, cool. We're helping you with the war now. Really? Yes.
So it was just. I think I agree with this comment. I mean, I don't know.
Chat really fast.
I don't know.
You see, they just read it so people on YouTube.
I think that's probable. It's the same people. I mean, not to get all black pilled, but do you think whoever is advising Trump to do these things is actually in lockstep with the Biden campaign, and then America is back on track to its predictable, shadowy bullshit, and will just use Trump as a scapegoat for these crazy decisions? I think so. I think the people who run the foreign policy, the State Department, the deep state, people like that, they don't they do what Capitol wants them to do, and the presidents respond to them, right? Like the president actually doesn't have the way the economy is set up now, the way the markets are set up, like the president is not actually capable of changing things significantly, right? Like if Capitol wants to go there, they're going to go there, right? Like they're going to make us go there,
right? I mean,
like
that's
no,
kind of like how we,
and that plays right into what you said, Matt. Though that they're going to go through and do all these, crazy, horrible decisions and not walk any of them back, or maybe walk one or two back. So
exactly what they did with Obama and Bush.
Right.
Obama normalized Bush's shit.
I don't think they have nearly as much of a problem as they're trying to make it seem, but they're setting it up to be something crazy that Trump's trying to do to burn down the house on the way out. So
absolutely. And another thing, the thing that's really sad, if you really think about the whole foreign policy as it exists now, is if you consider how things are in this day and age, they don't even have anyone competent running the foreign policy anymore. Like, say what you will about George Herbert Walker Bush pretty much running the, entire Iran Contra and other shit out of the White House as the vice president, because Ronald Reagan was a senile old bat, and I was actually breakdancing in 2004 when he died, but I digress.
Well, that's I think this is all coordinated, right? I think that's why I'm saying I don't know how much power America has specifically, right, or the American president has specifically, because then Macron does this thing today, the same thing about Muslims, right? And it's was this coordinated? Was this intentional? Are they purposely in lockstep?
This is how the French operate.
I mean, this is
this is how the French are.
It's basically. This is an extreme version of neoliberal. Neoliberalism took a step forward today. Between what they did, trying to normalize the stuff in the West Bank.
Let's go
it's true.
Making Muslims like a second-class citizen.
Well, let's go to Macron here from this tweet that you gave me. BBC News, Francis Macron issues a Republican values ultimatum to Muslim leaders. Children will be given an identification number to help locate them. Imams must register. No political action as Muslims. Macron is going full Marine Le Pen.
Yeah, that's what they did. The same thing they did there. Like in France, they have the three parties, right? They had Macron, Le Pen, and what's his name? The socialist, what the fuck is his name? Anyway, they basically have the three parties there, like we don't have, and then the centrists were all like, "Oh, the left candidate can't win. He's too left. You guys have to vote for Le Pen, so we don't get, or you guys have to vote for Macron, so we don't get Le Pen, because Le Pen is like a Trump type figure, like a far right psycho." So the same thing happened, and then the people sucked it up and voted for the Joe Biden, Emmanuel Macron,
right?
And now look what Macron does. Same exact thing.
This is
thing.
First of all, let me just say this about Macron. Let's just get the obvious joke out of the way now. Macron is married to a woman who is, I want to say 20 plus years older than him. I can't remember. It's a ridiculous age gap. That alone lets me know that this man has weird issues about humanity, because there's nothing wrong with older women. I want to make that very clear. But as a guy who has done a lot of stupid things while horny, I can tell you that guys who get in committed relationships with women that much older are psychotic. psychotic because they have delusions of grandeur. They think they're smarter than they are, and that's literally what we're seeing happening with them. That leads to point number 2. I'm not as sad as this is, as much as this upsets me. I'm not shocked because my family on my dad's side, apparently we descend from the Barbary Coast, particularly the part where is now known as Algeria. Algeria used to be a French colony, and they did the same shit to them there. Because Algeria, before it was a French colony, it was a Ottoman colony. Okay. That's how they became the Barbaries, and that's how they all got converted to Islam. So,
let's go to the article again. See, French President Emmanuel Macron has asked Muslim leaders to accept the Charter of Republican Values as part of a broad clampdown on radical Islam. On Wednesday, he gave the French Council of Muslim Faith a 15-day ultimatum to accept the charter. So they has agreed to create a national council of imams, which will reportedly issue imams with official accreditation, which could be withdrawn. It follows 3 suspected Islamist attacks in little more than a month. The charter will state that Islam is a religion and not a political movement, while also prohibiting foreign interference in Muslim groups.
Oh, God.
So Mr. Macron has strongly defended French secularism in wake of the attacks, which included the beheading of a teacher who showed cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad during a class discussion last month. Late on Wednesday, the president and his interior minister, Gerald Darmanin, I can't say it. Darmanin. There you go, man.
Look at those eyes he has. Those eyes are just those of a serial killer. He has the eyes. He has the eyes of an unsub on Criminal Minds. It's fucking creepy.
He met CFCM leaders at Elysee Palace. 2 principles will be inscribed in black and white on the charter: the rejection of political Islam and any foreign interference. One source told the Le Parisien newspaper after the meeting, the formation of the National Council of Imams was also agreed upon.
Those eyes give children nightmares.
Here you go. So the new measures include including the restriction on homeschooling and harsher punishment for those who intimidate public officials on religious grounds, giving children an identification number under the law that would be used to ensure they are attending schools. Parents who break the law could face up to 6 months in jail, as well as large fines. A ban on sharing the personal information of a person in a way that allows them to be located by people who want to harm them. What? So we must. It says we must save our children from the clutches of Islamists. The draft law will be discussed by the French cabinet on December 9th. Wow.
Damn, the last time a French guy was that racist, the Vichys were in power.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that's not true, but regardless, they already have all those laws. Like, you're not allowed to wear your headscarf, right? Like,
I'll say it again. Bring back the Barbaries.
Like, like Muslim teenagers have to, they can't cover their head at school. It's pretty barbaric.
Okay, right? I wanna bring this. Now that you mentioned the whole head covering thing, I want to bring this up to friends. Hey, French people, I want to say this really quick. How are you less progressive than the Canadians? The Canadians literally have like
too, though, right? I think Quebec
and they have literal. No, Quebec has a no. I don't. I know I can't say this on Twitch or YouTube.
They tried to get the law passed. If they don't already have it, they attempted to get it done after the that attack.
I know, but Quebec is one of those provinces in Canada where if like my family that has been up there, they have said it. You go up to Quebec in Canada as a black person, they will straight up call you the N-word.
Wow.
Hard R. And then
it's like I mean, I don't know. I used to work for a record label in Quebec, so I used to go in Montreal. So I used to go up when I was in college in New York. I used to go up like pretty often, maybe 8 to 10 times a year, something like that. And
okay, maybe they weren't racist to you.
No, I mean, it's a very I mean, at least the city itself is. I mean, I can see the people in the surrounding area being psychos, but the city is a very multicultural city. It's got giant.
I'm talking about the Quebecois. I'm talking about the Quebecois, how they treat you. The Quebecois.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like the surrounding countryside, I'm sure the reactionary as hell, right?
No, the story I heard from family was in Montreal. Was in like Montreal. They had like some French dude calling the N-word.
Damn.
Yeah.
Let's see what we could jump to. Oh, we had to talk about this. You saw the press conference today, right? About the legal challenges with Giuliani.
Yeah,
the brown sweat. Come on.
Yeah, put that shit on.
Let's roll this.
Rudy
Giuliani and the brown sweat.
He's obviously one of the top legal minds of our generation.
Here we go.
Tony, before you start before you start this,
man.
What's up?
Before you start this, what were you gonna say, Matt?
They should have gotten Dershowitz.
Okay, that leads me to say two things. Number one, about Dershowitz. No, 1,000 times no. Because all Dershowitz is going to do, if you put him on camera, he's going to talk about what he's there for 5 minutes. The next 10 is going to be him denying he was ever on Jeffrey Epstein's plane.
Look, I wear my underwear all the time. I don't ever take my underwear off.
Here's me being the asshole if I'm out in the audience.
Wait, speaking of problematic crushes. Oh, wait. Okay, don't leave us in suspense now. Who are you talking about over there?
I think he's talking about Dershowitz.
Dershowitz?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, give me that Dersh. We should listen to Dershowitz podcast.
I will simply say this about Dershowitz in 2 simple points. Number one, if I'm in the audience, I'm not going to ask Dershowitz about Epstein. I want to know about him working for Klaus von Bülow. That's my first fucking question.
Yeah.
And my second question is, so what was OJ like? That's my question. Was OJ really that fucking nuts as they portrayed him on TV? That's my next question. I will bring up Epstein. I will ask about Klaus and OJ. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great show, by the way. I actually thought that was like a really awesome show. When I was in law school at the time when it premiered, and I would watch that every fucking week on the dot.
Yeah, but also last point about Rudy Giuliani.
Last point, we're gonna watch the video.
Yeah,
I just want to get my opinion out. So I just want to get this out about him. One, I wish everyone would have stopped treating him like he was such a hero after 9/11 happened.
Thank you.
He just had a whole
fucking Hallmark movie.
Like, bitch, you didn't even give everybody proper health care. You know who was a bigger hero in 9/11? Steve Buscemi.
That's no lie. No lie, though. Yeah. He was a volunteer fireman before he became an actor. And then Buscemi went ahead and joined back up to...
Buscemi used to be a firefighter. Yeah. And then 9/11 happened. He just went right back to his old
right back to
it. Hey, guys, look. And they just gave him his shit like, come on, let's go pull some people out of rubble. Yeah. And that's what the fuck he did.
Yeah. I mean, that's
pretty
based, not gonna lie.
And number two,
I love the Trump story from 9/11, right?
What about how he had the tallest building thing?
No, but he lied, or he claimed, because there was some sort of government program where if you sent your workers to help, you would get overtime or whatever. They would get some sort of special pay arrangement. Right. So he lied about it and said he sent like hundreds of workers down there, and then there's not a single person who was there at the time who that got sent there. So
that's believable.
And he just milked the government for hundreds of thousands of dollars in federal funding.
And he is the most successful con artist of all time.
Yeah.
No. The most successful con artist of all time is Billy Graham. So
it's arguable.
Trump he's the president, man.
I know. Trump conned his way to be the president. He conned his way into
That's not impressive to me. being the president of the
his
being
con was so
president of-
successful. He has people actively dying from COVID, still denying it as
exactly.
a hoax.
Yeah, but it's America.
It's 7
Yeah, but
million
it's
votes
America.
after killing 200,000 Americans.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
man.
but
Come
that's America. Being president in America post World War II was like, it's like saying, yeah, I own an NFL team. Which team? The New York Jets. Not impressive.
Okay, that's still kind of. I mean, you own an NFL team.
You're
But
nuts,
it's the
man.
Jets.
I don't
But
care.
it's
I'll
the
own the Jets.
Jets.
I'll own
Dude,
the
think
Jets.
about the people who won,
JETS.
though.
I'll bring.
It's like-
You know what? I'll bring back Eric Mangini too. Give me that.
No.
Everybody
The
who's
Jets.
won has had to like basically cheat. You know, like
Yeah.
it's very hard.
Having
They have
only
to,
the
like,
Lions
notice
is
this
more
one.
Let's go to the
respectable.
Giuliani clip, bro. We've been holding that up too long. Let's see.
Also,
was
Giuliani
giving
helped
you information that
helped
come
Mitch
from
get away.
affidavits from other people.
Look at that shit.
That are
It's just
given under
dripping.
oath.
It's like a slow drip.
I was explaining things to you
Oh,
from
no.
affidavits that come from other people, American citizens,
Man, tell him something.
who swear under oath
Give him
that
something.
they saw 100,000 ballots come in and that they were all for Joe Biden. It was
Wow. I mean, nobody didn't think.
I want to
something.
laugh. I want to laugh, but I've seen many a black preacher have the same thing happen to them, and nobody says shit.
Well, I saw another clip that was
Look at this.
he blew his nose and then wiped his face with his handkerchief.
Look at that.
Let me see if I can find it.
Oh shit, man.
Okay,
Dude in
I
his
mean,
position.
I will simply say this about the picture: cheap shot coming. It would be this cheap shot coming. That man looks like he has the logic of a guy who would fuck his own cousin.
Oh. You had to pull that one there. Oh, I think I have this one.
Giuliani helped Nicky Barnes get away with snitching on everybody. Fuck him.
Let's look at this one. Let's see if I can. If I can get this. Here, how about this? Look, he missed the two long ass brown streaks on his face.
No, right before that I don't think that's the one though. Right before that he like blew his nose.
Did he wipe his face with his snot?
Yeah, he wiped snot all over himself.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on. You would have bad decision making too if you look that old.
He's shameless, man. He's we're lucky to have him, man. He's fucking pretty entertaining. He's been this year, right?
Lucky. I don't consider lucky having. I don't consider it lucky to have his ass around looking like Carol.
Hold on. Let me do this. Let me pull this one up. Let's go to this.
Good God, he looks like Carol O'Connor in Heat of the Night.
Yeah, there it is.
He straight up looks like Carol O'Connor in Heat of the Night. He does.
Okay, look at this.
His nose. Takes it booger side in, smears his hands all over it. Wipes it into his lips. All over his face! Son, he's wiping snot all over his face.
There's coke in there, right? That's like a coke thing to do.
Looks like shit, bro. And he's gonna fucking touch
He's on drugs.
the podium.
Oh, dude.
That lawyer lady's a quack too. Like I want to watch this clip from Tucker.
True. But this needs to be said about. This needs to be said about.
He said some crazy shit, and Tucker pushed back supposedly.
I will simply say this about. Simply say about Rudy. Hi, I'm Rudy Giuliani, and I'm about to eat shit.
Did you send me the Tucker clip?
I think I did.
Hi, I'm Donald Trump.
The
jackass.
That Charlie Wurtzel one. Wurtzel, whoever that is.
Where are we looking at? Charlie Wurtzel. Okay, so there we go.
This is going to be that crazy religious lady who said commies paid off.
A pretty good example of how Tucker is much savvier and playing a longer game than most Trump sycophants. Let's see. Tucker Carlson calls out Sidney Powell, saying he asked her for evidence to support her election fraud claims, but she never sent us any evidence despite lots of requests. Polite requests, not a page. We kept pressing her. She got angry and told us to stop contacting her. Interesting. All right, let's see what you got.
How is that? Hold on. Tucker pressing her for evidence, but yet she says no. How is that different from when Tucker asked out any woman ever in his life?
Oh, just have to take that shot. All right, hold up. Let's play it.
By former prosecutor Sidney Powell, who has also served as General Mike Flynn's lawyer. For more than a week, Powell has been all over conservative media with the following story. This election was stolen by a collection of international leftists who manipulated vote tabulating software in order to flip millions of votes from Donald Trump to Joe Biden. The other day on television, Powell said of Trump that when the fraud is finally uncovered, quote, I think we'll find he had at least 80 million votes. In other words, rigged software stole about 7 million votes in this election. Here's some of what Powell said today about the software.
One of its most characteristic features is its ability to flip votes. It can set and run an algorithm that probably ran all over the country to take a certain percentage of votes from President Trump and flip them to President Biden,
I saw that
which we
conspiracy
might
in the
never have
primary.
uncovered had the votes for President Trump not been so overwhelming in so many of these states that it broke
Who's
the
the chick to her
algorithm that had
right?
been plugged into the system.
What?
And that's what caused them to have to shut down in the states they shut down in.
What?
That was a few hours ago, but Sidney Powell...
Hold
On
on.
Sunday night...
Hold on.
Okay.
I love how in this election, because of how crazy everything has been for the last 4 years, the Trump presidency is literally ending like the third movie in a Michael Bay trilogy.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love how it's gotten that fucking ridiculous that now it's literally starting to end like Bad Boys 3.
Oh.
Just bullshit left and right. It's like none of this makes sense. Bullshit. How did that person exist? How is he still alive? Like the second movie made more sense than the third one. That makes no fucking sense. The second one literally starts looking like Call of Duty.
All right, let's go to the
texted her after watching one of her segments. What Powell was describing would amount to the single greatest crime in American history. Millions of votes stolen in a day. Democracy destroyed. The end of our centuries-old system of self-government. Not a small thing. Now, to be perfectly clear, we did not dismiss any of it. We don't dismiss anything anymore, particularly when it's related to technology. We've talked to too many Silicon Valley whistleblowers. We've seen too much. After 4 years, this may be the single most open-minded show on television. We literally do UFO segments, not because we're crazy or had even been interested in the subject, but because there is evidence that UFOs are real and everyone lies about it. There's evidence that a lot of things that responsible people used to dismiss out of hand as ridiculous are in fact real. And we don't care who mocks it. The louder the Yale Political Science Department and the staff of the Atlantic magazine scream, conspiracy theory, the more interested we tend to be. That's usually a sign you're over the target. A lot of people with impressive sounding credentials in this country are frauds. They have no idea what they're doing. They're children posing as authorities, and when they're caught, they lie, and then they blame you for it. We see that every day. It's the central theme of this show, and will continue to be. So that's a long way of saying we took Sidney Powell seriously. We had no intention of fighting with her. We've always respected her work. We simply wanted to see the details. How could you not want to see them? So we invited Sidney Powell on the show. We would have given her the whole hour. We would have given her the entire week, actually, and listened quietly the whole time at rapt attention. That's a big story. But she never sent us any evidence, despite a lot of requests, polite requests, not a page. When we kept pressing, she got angry and told us to stop contacting her. When we checked with others around the Trump campaign, people in positions of authority, they told us Powell has never given them any evidence either, nor did she provide any today at the press conference. Powell did say that electronic voting is dangerous, and she's right. We're with her there. But she never demonstrated that a single actual vote was moved illegitimately by software from one candidate to another. Not one. So why are we telling you this? We're telling you this because it's true. And in the end, that's all that matters, the truth. It's our only hope. It's our best defense. And it's how we're different from them. We care what's true, and we know you care too. That's why we told you. Maybe Sidney Powell will come forward soon with details on exactly how this happened and precisely who did it. Maybe she will. We are certainly hopeful that she will. What happened with the vote counting this month and at the polling places in Detroit and the polling places in Philadelphia and so much else actually matters. It matters no matter who you voted for. It matters whether or not you think this election is already over. Until we know the answers to those questions conclusively and we can agree on them, this country will not be united. By former prosecutors.
Yeah.
Okay, quick thing about this woman. How does anyone take her seriously when she straight up looks like the antagonist in a Stephen King novel?
Here we go. It says Tucker lost an entire damning file about Biden, but wants other people to send him their evidence. My man thinks we forgot.
Well,
No. I
she's
know
the
exactly
attorney, right? Isn't she the lawyer, Sidney Powell? So if she's filing all these cases about this vote flipping machine, I think he's well within his rights to ask for the complaint, right?
Yeah.
Can I see any of the stuff you're working with, any of the documents you're filing in these court cases? If not, I got to ask why. Is this malpractice? Because if I was representing a client, I would have at least something to go on before I started.
Well, I mean, that's why the judge threw out the initial complaint, right? Because there was nothing.
Well, I don't think they've had anything in there about this vote flipping machine, right?
No, but the judge in Pennsylvania, right, had Giuliani refile and take out the voter fraud stuff because there's nothing supporting it. And then when he went and argued that shit anyway, it's a failure to state a claim at that point. So.
But they've been arguing these ticky-tacky.
Yeah, a lot of procedural bullshit is what they've been trying to hang their hats on.
This would be like, you're
talking about 7 million votes. That's ridiculous.
Well, they would have to have some sort of extreme evidence here. Right? They would have to have something that. There's something wrong with Democrats. Basically, this woman is an easily dunk, yet all the right still thinks this generally was rigged. Yeah, but they're pissed off at Tucker. Remember that we were watching that video of the Trump supporters, and they were like, "Fuck Fox News," except for Hannity and Tucker, right? They were all said they all basically put that disclaimer in that they love Tucker, and we saw that poll they just did. He's like, got a big chunk of them for 2024.
Right.
They love Tucker.
Sweet baby.
They're of course. Off about this. I don't think they're coming around. Like, I don't think that they think Tucker's full of shit. Yeah, I think it's all insane too, because I remember reading about the vote counting machines in the primary because the way that Bernie lost Michigan just didn't seem believable to me.
Yeah.
It seemed.
Well,
I
was
saw people do analysis
to me
too
more
that
about
had
Bernie,
the ratios were a certain way.
Well, what stood out
so
to
it
me
was
more,
in line with the machine being stolen like that.
Well, what stood out to me more in the primary with Bernie is just the differentiation between the vote count and the exit polls. When you have that big of a discrepancy, then that could mean something else. And then the other part of it is all of his ideas won heavily on the ballot. When you're not the ballots.
I always say
so.
Like when I was in Detroit, for like a week and a half. The reading up to the election, just knocked on probably 1,000 doors. Like a shitload of doors. Yeah. And I met less than 5 people who said they were voting for Biden, and only one who was gung ho about it, who was really into Biden.
Yeah.
Every single person. And then the day of the vote, I was standing outside of the polling place, like within 100 feet, talking to people going in and out. And on my informal exit poll, like I'd say it was at least 70% of the precinct was going for Bernie.
Right.
And we lost Detroit. We lost Wayne County. Like we lost every county in Michigan. It just didn't seem plausible to me. Like, but again, I don't know how to prove it. Nobody would have any evidence to prove anything.
Yeah.
So
I can explain what happened.
I didn't lean too heavy into it.
Well, just for me to weigh in too, like when we were doing all the canvassing here in Texas, all over my city, what we saw a lot of, other than Bernie stuff, was Bloomberg stuff. We saw, there was a heavy Bloomberg presence. There wasn't anybody with any Biden sign. We canvassed the whole fucking city. Yeah, but I'm telling you, the main competition out here when it came to putting up stuff as far as signs or hearing about voters, it was all Bloomberg stuff. People were saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna vote for that Michael Bloomberg." You know, if anything, I had all the people that I talked to out in when I was canvassing, we had most of the people were on board with Bernie. We had and if they weren't, they were going to vote for Michael Bloomberg, and we had one person in that whole time that said, "Oh yeah, I want to vote for Joe Biden." So it came in weird to me at the end of the end of the day when you had a bunch of people at the last minute flip, not just flipped over Bloomberg to be second place in the city, and then end up winning up the state over Bernie. I mean, yeah, but that's just, you know, from my end.
Yeah, it makes zero sense.
I was a Bernie canvasser in Michigan. What I saw, and I could probably explain this without being, because I was on the ground. Ingham, I kind of figured you would lose part of Ingham, because you got to understand it's about Ingham County, which is where most of Lansing is. Because Lansing is weirdly split between Ingham, Eaton, and Clinton for some reason. It's fucking weird. I knew there were parts of Ingham we would lose to the Republicans, but that was to the Republicans.
Right.
Everyone else where I would go, because when I went canvassing, I purposely picked the area where I'm not gonna lie, I picked the area where I knew there was a lot of black people, because I knew chances are I probably know somebody in this bitch, so I could probably flip a few people. So this will probably be easier.
Well, that's what we did. We were assigning people like to go to like you know, like we weren't like assigning them like, you know, you black guy go to the black neighborhood, but like you know, that was the strategic aim.
No, I purposely picked the neighborhood.
Ethnic.
No, I've lived in Lansing.
Yeah, I'm saying the organizers would have sent you there anyway, so you had the right instinct. Because if you had gone to the office first, they probably would have sent you to those neighborhoods. So,
no, I went to the office first. It was just when they had the selection of places, the place they picked for me. First thing I said when I saw the area, "Oh shit, I buy weed here."
Yeah, like, not gonna lie, like that was. I went through some bad neighborhoods in Detroit, like, on par. The only other place I've seen on par with that would be like, you know, Southwest Philly, just, you know, blocks where there's like everything's boarded up. There's like like everything's vacant. It'll be like a handful of houses on blocks, and everything else is just like boarded up, knocked down. And they were cool though. Like I said, they were all down for Bernie.
That's
like exactly.
But you know, it was a good experience.
But Wayne County, I'm not shocked when things go weird there. Because remember, I tell people all the time, I have no faith in the politics of any part of Wayne County, especially Detroit. And they're like, why? And I'm like, bitch, your entire city got scammed for millions of dollars by a Tyler Perry villain. You have no room to talk to me.
That's true.
Just to go to the chat really fast, I wonder if Tucker breaks with Trump. Does Tucker win that battle, or does Trump back Tom Cotton for 2024?
I don't know, man. Trump holds a grudge, right?
Yeah, he definitely does, and I'm telling you, he's gonna, if he, you know, once he gets out of this shit, he will run again in 2024, and he's gonna probably win.
Yeah, I mean, this is Tucker breaking with him right here. Like, this is
okay. First of all, you're assuming Trump will even live that long.
Hatred forever.
You're assuming Trump will live that long.
First of all, if he does live that long, then I'm assuming he is going to run in 2024, and he'll run through the GOP again.
Tucker might be able to beat him.
Maybe. Well, it's going to show a lot from. Okay,
Tucker,
look, you know, when we were looking at the
a lot smarter than Trump, obviously.
Well, look, when we were looking at the Fox News people, they still said, "Oh, I still like Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson." You know, so it will be interesting to see if he actually gets through to these people and says, "All right, no, he lost. This is it." You know, and
you know, it'd be hilarious.
Yeah. He's not saying that though. He's not even saying that. He's doing it. He's walking that tightrope pretty effectively, if you ask me. He's saying, like, "Look, I haven't seen any proof yet." Like, he's basically saying like what a rational person would say, even though, you know, he's obviously fucking a far right psycho who wants this to be true. So he's saying, like, if there's evidence there, I mean, we need to see it, you know, like, I'm not going to go on beating the drum for this if I don't have anything, right? I think the base is going to side with Trump.
Yeah,
right.
I really wouldn't bet against Trump when it comes to winning over that base. I really wouldn't, because they're just that they're just that tied to him. You know,
it's kind of like
if anybody could actually get through to any of those people, it's going to end up being somebody like Tucker Carlson to be able to do that.
Yeah, maybe over time, maybe they'll see more evidence, and I think not that they're going to want to embarrass him, but like I could see him following up with, you know, any kind of references they could find to stuff to see if, you know, to like they want to find instances of fraud, right? They want to find like people, dead parents voting, like a handful of those, and then make a big deal about it. Sort of lead people to believe that there's more out there.
That's why they keep saying that whole thing about how many instances of dead people voting is too much, or is enough, or is acceptable.
All right, first of all, the dead people voting thing, that should only work back with JFK. You can't do that shit now.
No, I mean, they busted the dude in PA for that. But let me go to this tweet really fast. So Trump's campaign dismisses the last remaining Michigan federal lawsuit. Trump and his allies are 1 in 29 in post-election litigation courts. So they've won 1 out of 29. So I got to look at how things are going over here. So there we go. Live look at how Trump campaign filing election lawsuits.
Good God, I haven't seen somebody miss that many shots since me at a bar on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, man. Maybe they'll try to come up with some sort of like hack documents. Like I saw the guy from 8kun, Ron Watkins, was tweeting about it earlier, and he seems pretty bullish on this theory about the what's it called again, the Dominion. I wouldn't be surprised if they manufactured some sort of documents or evidence or whatever, but like he's the president, right? He has access to all the drones, all the fucking NSA surveillance. If there was some sort of coordination between Biden or, the NGOs or any kind of like bureaucracy connected with the Biden campaign, they would be able to track it down, right? Like they would have to coordinate with the election people all over the country,
You'd be surprised how well Americans can fuck up espionage.
Yeah. Well, but the next question I have after this is, how long is it going to be until all the Republicans walk back their support of what he's doing?
It's not. It's going to be like Russiagate. They're going to begrudgingly accept Biden's presidency, and the whole time they're going to try to keep pretending, digging deeper, and coming up with stories about it. It's going to be that they do. Like they don't. What's their option, right? Like Biden's going to be boring as shit.
Yeah. Well, okay. So like the whole thing that's going on with Lindsey Graham. Let me pull that shit up. So. A top staffer from Georgia Secretary of State Raffensperger said Tuesday that he was on the call with Senator Graham when he asked him whether he had the power to reject certain absentee ballots.
Good God!
Why would they? I know they have a recording of that.
To which
I'm sure they have a recording of that.
Right, I'm sure they.
Why would they trust him? Why?
So, like, to which that Ilhan Omar went ahead and said it's time for Lindsey Graham to submit his resignation, which he won't. But glad for Ilhan Omar to be able to call that out.
Did you see
Lindsey
his response?
Graham needs to retire. That man is like a living Chuck E. Cheese animatronic.
I sent you his response. He said some shit about Venezuela.
Where did you send?
Oh, you mean the country we made a failed Bay of Pigs at? That's all that was. Venezuela was just failed Bay of Pigs. They didn't even get anyone good for the Venezuelan.
They're beyond a really great tweet.
They didn't even get anyone good for the Venezuela.
That one had. Oh, okay.
They didn't get anyone good.
So this was the response over here from Lindsey Graham. I can understand why the squad doesn't want me in the Senate because I'm going to bury your agenda. You're a bunch of socialists. You will transform America and make it Venezuela. I'm going to stand in your way. Oh, she didn't even put AOC in that one? Really? Okay. You didn't want any of that smoke?
Okay,
here's the Twitter smoke.
Okay, here's the thing, Lindsay. you saying they're trying to make it like Venezuela. What you mean with a military where they're actually competent beyond compare and not miserable? Not to say anything against our military. It's just a lot of you, when you come back from war, they've scarred you in so many awful ways and don't really take care of you. I'm just saying that to all veterans. You deserve better than to be sent into fucking dumbass wars. I'm just saying that to all the veterans. If you're listening, you deserve better.
That's why Brianna Joy Gray went ahead and responded to Lindsey Graham saying the 1950s called. They want their sloganeering back. The breadlines are here in good old capitalist U.S. of A. People want aid. They're too desperate to care about some Red Scare nonsense. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty bad. I mean, the photos out of Dallas are, I mean, they're breadlines essentially. So,
No,
I
mean, he'd be ashamed of himself, man. It's like,
yeah, great conversation. We're gonna pass out. All right, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Gears or nah?
Yeah.
Gears or nah?
Here we go, man. Let's see. What was I gonna pick up on?
I'm not sure.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I had the Bernie tweet as well over here. So let's see. This is what authoritarianism looks like. Trump not conceding after losing. Senator Graham pressuring secretaries of state not to count ballots. Michigan GOP pushing to not certify states' election results. Giuliani creating fiction while sweating brown sweat.
Okay, the whole thing about Senator Lindsey Graham, it's like, why is anyone shocked that he would do that? Of course, the first initial thing they would do for something that's like low tier but needs a good face, of course they would send Senator Beverly Lindsey. That's all he is. He's basically Beverly Leslie from Will and Grace. I'm sorry that joke gets drawn out, but that's who the fuck he reminds me of.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Watch Will and Grace, you'll get it.
Shameless.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
How long have we been on for?
We're coming up on 2 hours right now, so we'll probably sign off in a little bit. But before we go and do that part, I did want to go ahead and just stay on this for a little bit, because you had AOC comment on the press conference as well. Translation of Republican Party stance: we can undermine the election by stripping Black Americans of their civil rights.
Who's that? Josh Marshall.
Can we use this as a segue about the whole chud thing?
Yeah. Well, we brought you on to be our black chud expert, and get ahead of the story that everyone. I mean, people haven't been talking about it much now, but it's going to be in the discourse, right?
All right.
That really fucked up their narrative. Like the liberal media has been pushed in this storyline that Trump is basically Hitler, right? Like he's like a white supremacist.
Here you go. You need a Nas Bowl on your stream someday.
Why? Why? All he's gonna do is say the worst slurs possible to Tony the whole time. I know that's all they're gonna do. And Tony's a good guy, so let's not do that to him.
I don't know how many of them there are in actual existence, right? Like I feel like it's more like an internet meme than
there's no Nas. There's no real Nas Bowls. It's just incels who like Stalin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had.
It's just some. But the whole thing about the whole Black Chud thing.
Just real quick before we go over to that. So Dave Rubin had that response to AOC after she was commenting about that. So AOC is about to put Amy and Liz on a list. So then this was an article, I guess, that Rubin's pulling up from the Washington Examiner about Dominion voting systems.
What? Yeah. That's what I was saying. That's the thing from the primary that I was looking into. Like those systems are hackable, right? And Glenn Greenwald's take was that in Brazil, it's a shithole country, right? He said basically, and everyone does their voting. Everyone has a day off work and it's mandatory, and you go and vote, and it's just a computer that keeps track of it. So at the end of the night, they like have the total, right? It's like not controversial at all. It's very easy to do. And he's like that, they want to have that freedom to fuck with the results. They want to have that wiggle room. That's why it's like that. You know, so they can change votes here and there. They can count this faster or slower, or lose votes here, or shit like that. I mean, I think that's traditionally, I think that's what they do. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I really wouldn't be surprised. But at the same time, like, I don't see any proof, and it's not that hard for me to believe that the score was the score, right? It's not like in the primaries where we had the exit polls and we had, just massive difference in all kinds of like polling, and it was shady, right?
Right.
This was like he was losing by like 10 points in every single poll, and then he loses by a few points, right? So like, if you need some extraordinary evidence for that, right? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And that's why I get too into it at the primary, even with the exit poll discrepancy, which would have been legitimate, like UN tribunal. We would have done a coup if that had been in a different country.
Yeah.
So like,
exactly.
But he's the president, though, is what I'm saying. Like, we couldn't find that evidence in the primary because we were just fucking, like the online left and like, presidential campaign. But like, he's the president. Like, he runs the levers of power. If he can't prove that that's happening, I'd be inclined to believe it's not happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, he runs the levers of power, but his hands are all covered in Big Macs. So do we really have that much faith in him?
So you think he's too incompetent
they don't let him
to
put his
uncover
hands on
an
the
election
levers.
fraud that he would want to? I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's that incompetent that he wouldn't be able to uncover some kind of fraud if it exists. Given like the resources.
If I was him,
he can't even hide his own fraud.
If I was him, I would find the people who could do it, right? Like, find the number of people who would need to be involved to execute this kind of caper. Like, how many people on the ground, how many people at the companies, like at the servers, and start poking holes in their, their online activity, like start digging around. Like, this is the kind of thing that's, you have competent, like law firms can do, right? They can piece together your comings and goings, your digital comings and goings, and sort of get an idea of who you were talking to at the relevant dates and times, right?
Yeah, but in terms of why I still don't have... Yeah, but in terms of why I have no faith in pulling off this operation, I can boil it down to 2 words: Stormy Daniels. If that motherfucker can't even pay for pussy, right? How the fuck do we expect him to get away with stealing an election? If you can't even do basic illegal shit like pay for a sex worker,
but that's
how
different,
the fuck?
Trump was the one who got the scam done on him. It would have been the deep state executing it.
Right.
Like, the villains here would be the same people who were like, running. We were talking about the beginning of the show. The people who are deciding that,
Yeah.
But the CIA doesn't really like him that much. Also, the CIA is the
I'm saying chaotic... in the terms of how the caper would go, Trump would be the one stealing the election or having the election stolen from him, right? So it would be like in 2016 when Obama and them were investigating him, right? Like, he would be the one, he'd be the victim, not the villain, right? So like, the deep state is working with the other guys. That's who they're working with.
I just don't have any faith in it.
The deep state wants Biden to win. They don't like me because I'm too threatening to them,
Right. Something like that.
Which I think there's probably motive there. Like, I think that they would, right? Like, if it looked like Trump was going to win, like if they thought Trump was seriously going to win, I feel like they would have cheated. But I feel like they didn't think Trump was going to win. I think they were surprised it was as close as it was.
Yeah, but this is the CIA. If they wanted him to like be out of the way, they just have him ride in a Cadillac in Dallas again.
That makes him a martyr and radicalizes the...
Well, it probably would have been the same effect if he had actually died from COVID too. But I wanted to get to the
chud thing. Chud thing. Now let's say this about the use. There's a lot of reports saying that there was an increase in black votes for Trump.
Right.
Yeah, it was the New York Times yesterday.
Yeah, Hispanic votes too. So he's been Yeah.
Now I wanna say this about this to give you a little cultural insight into this. To understand how you got this upswing, you have to understand how Black liberalism works among us from a cultural standpoint.
Okay.
You have to understand that in Black culture, I can't really speak to Tony's experience, but you can probably understand where I'm coming from on this in these two analogies. One, there are some people within the Black community that are I'm trying to do what someone said. They said about Trump during the 2016 election. They mentioned how far he lost in Texas, and they mentioned how did he not win? Somebody said, "How did they not win in San Antonio?" And the Mexican guy who in this podcast I was listening to said, "What you mean the part of Texas where the Mexican people think they're white?" You get where I'm going with that one, Tony?
Yeah, that's everybody.
That's
That's
not
a
what it
that's a
was,
good
though.
that's a good chunk of people that have lived over here for at least one generation.
So you get where I'm going.
Yeah,
with
of
this.
course.
Now imagine, with my culture, it's a little different because the way we got a little more integrated into mainstream culture is slightly different because our integration was, I won't say stagnated. It just the way America changed how everyone else. Like for the Boomer generation, they had a little bit harder but easier time. Harder culturally, but easier economically because because a lot of them were like there's a decent amount that were veterans of World War II, so they had the money to do what they wanted to a degree. Of course, you still had things like Tulsa happening, so there were still problems. Then you get to Gen X, their kids, who went into the world they created that was a little still fucked up. The neoliberal turn kicked in the 70s. So you have the neoliberal turn kick in the 70s. Everything starts to go to shit. You have things like, New York becoming kind of a war zone. Yeah. Yeah, you have this kind of war zone going on in Gen X.
Right.
Then you get to by the 90s when, Cold War is over, the economy's on the way up.
Well, I mean, just
all these things.
To what you're talking about, though, like you brought up like the Boomer generation. You're talking about like the Civil Rights generation, right?
Yeah.
So what I noticed with Gen X, though, when you look at the history, there was an entire generation in there that had their socialist or their leftist leadership kind of decapitated to a point. So by the time
that's what kind of made an example out of them to the Boomers.
Right.
And the Boomers,
exactly.
In our community have been
kind
of really
so like when you go into
so
like when you go into like the hip hop generation in the beginning, like you're talking about like that late 80s, early 90s kind of thing. There was like a real disconnect.
No. Hip hop started hip hop more or less started in like 1979. If you want to be a little more correct.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm just like talking about like when you think about like that generation of leadership between the 60s civil rights era and the hip hop generation, where you think about more in the 80s kind of area, the 80s kind of era. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, well, with Gen X, that's where there started to be a bit of a divide,
right?
Because within Gen X, you have really two types where you get the Republicans out of it, where you had the more liberal ones. Okay, the person said like we have to like the Zoomers. I'll get to the Zoomers in a bit, but
I think the millennials have to line up with the Zoomers, bro. Go give that reverse.
Okay, let me just get back to what I was saying about.
All right, go for it.
About the Gen X. With Gen X, it's in our culture. It was you had the economy on the uptick, which is how you had some people honestly considering being Republicans because we had so many people doing well economically that you had this growing generation of people who were raised in the suburbs and let's be honest in places where they were around more white people than black people.
Okay.
Didn't make them black, but you did see a lot more black people who grew up around
white people,
more mixed. Yeah, like people assume I grew up around nothing but white people. I'm like, no. I grew up in Lansing. All the white people who I grew up around pretty much acted like they were black. Like you wouldn't, like I grew up in one of those parts of the Midwest, and Matt will know what I'm talking about. I grew up in one of those parts of the Midwest where the white people are so ingrained of being around black people, you don't know they're white till you see their parents.
Yeah, like in like 8 Mile.
Like 8 Mile kind of style. Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't know they're white till you see their mom or dad, and you're like, oh, like the two dead giveaways is either you see their parents or then you see their kids, and you're like, oh, I get what's going on here. Like you see their kids, and they're like snickerdoodle colored.
Oh God. When I first met black kids who spoke in a complete sentence, I was like, "You ain't black, Jack." Oh Jesus.
Well, yeah, but it kind of goes to the whole thing. Now you skip to the millennial generation, my generation. Now, if you want to understand where the conservative thing came there, it was more of a cultural war thing because this is where it goes into my back history a little bit. I spent a decent amount of years writing for an extremely reactionary site that I'm not going to go name the name of because I don't need people going there and giving his site clicks. He's a fucking asshole. He's like, why'd you go here and cuss me out? Because you were advocating for hate crimes against trans people on your fucking live stream, asshole. Like, why the fuck do you think I would stay after that? Yeah. Like, come on, you were literally advocating for hate crimes. Come on now. But I digress.
Thing, though, like they're like that site, like that sort of like culture seems like it's mostly just about cultural stuff, right? Like it doesn't seem like
and the reason why is because things got comfortable enough that we didn't have to worry that hard about economic issues. So for my generation, it did become culture wars. Now, if you're wondering how you get guys like the weird black cells, black MRAs, black red pill guys, I could easily explain that, but in the best, shortest way I can, because I came from that kind of background. The way you get that is because in the black community, we went through a period where, and white people kind of already had this happen with them, where you had the thing of, you know how, Matt, you'll know what I'm saying. You know how it is where like there will be some white guys just on an interpersonal, not like on like high in the media or politics, like like just publicly you'll see those white guys who get through life pretty easily only because they're charming, but they're still toxic people.
Yeah.
You've seen that, right? Yeah, and you've seen how but in among white people they tend to get by on that, and at a later point, things are still going well. In the black community, those kinds of people, because of how close everything is culturally, like you can't be that much of an asshole to that many women because eventually they all know each other or they're related to somebody or something like that. Like if you do this with the community, eventually it does start to spread out. Like if a guy's being like getting a bunch of random women pregnant, being a drug dealer, all these things, like you can't do community affecting bad decisions in a microcosm among black people. In the case of sexual practice, right? What'd you say, Matt?
Yeah, no, I'm just agreeing. Like
if
you're
but
pimps and drug dealers, they know.
But in the black community, when it comes to like sexual practices, again, you, like I was saying to Tony before I got on here, I said one of the things that if you want to understand how we got the whole MRA thing, but you see it intensified in the black community, is we as a culture, not just black people, just America's culture as a whole, we never got rid of the idea that the only way to get actualization. I'm fucking up the word. Somebody knows what I'm saying.
Yeah, actualized.
You actualize. Thank you. Yeah, self-actualize. You have to have a certain amount of money. You have to have this like aura of menace about you. You have to have this like level of control over women. It's not just black people. This is just kind of a weird thing that exists in culture. It just
It sounds like the Thomas
people.
Chatterton Williams take.
Huh?
This sounds kind of like the Thomas Chatterton Williams take, right? Isn't that what people gave him shit for?
Well, I'm saying I'm using this. I use the analogy.
It's kind of like the Obama shit too, right? There was a quote from the Obama book too, where he was talking
that's
about.
what I'm. Yeah, but I'm saying that those are things we need to get rid of. But those are not just in the black community. Those are things that are like across American culture at large. They just put it on us. Like I see those kinds of traits, those kinds of ideas being done pretty much among everybody, white people too. It's just it gets tied to our culture way too hard. And it's kind of a problem when you're a black guy trying to learn how to be a man in a culture where there's a whole over culture that doesn't even treat you as human, let alone a man. So you do get this weird cultural Napoleon complex where you have to go way too far and way too fast to prove I'm a man to people who are generally awful, but because of how society is, you get treated as they're more important, even though you might be more legitimately talented than them.
Yeah,
I see it all the time. Mm-hmm. But when you get to like the Republicans in the black community today, it is a very culture war thing, but it is the sort of thing where you realize this is what you get when you have an entire marginalized culture that is not only like every other marginalized culture is developed in the shadow of the dominant culture of, white supremacy. But you also have, how do I put this?
Is it like contrarian?
Just to go to the chat really fast, they're asking, are you guys familiar with Thomas Sowell? He went from Marxist to reactionary.
Yeah,
I am aware of Thomas Sowell, and I fucking hate that guy because basically Sowell's whole argument about why he went from that was Sowell got. Oh, how do I put this in a short way? Sowell got mad that the world around him, in its small as it was, didn't stroke his ego. That's the only reason he became how he is. He's. I know those kinds of black guys because A, I used to be one of those guys, and B, I still know guys like that, and C, I grew up with guys like that, and I can tell you first fucking hand that kind of like reactionary thought you see in black politics among black people, whether it be from liberals or conservative, I can tell you for a fact that it is always built from like, I understand building your politics from a place of resentment, but there's a time when the resentment you build your politics on is so esoteric you have to question someone's sanity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I can't remember who I did. I think I listened to a podcast about him recently.
It was probably on like Champagne Chart.
The OG black conservative, right?
Yeah, but the thing you got to realize about black conservatives, some of the more bigger figures you might see among black conservatives, Armstrong Williams, Larry Elder, Wayne Dupree. There's this one. I know he's minor, but there was this one black conservative. I'm pretty sure he's still on Facebook by the name of John Joseph Magula. I don't know if he pops up anywhere on anyone's radar, but he used to write for this. Oh, you know who I'm talking about?
No. I mean, it sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Well, if you do know if anyone knows who I'm talking about, I want to say this to you. The first thing I wanted to say to him, I would say, but the third party involved would call me immediately after she sees this and cuss me out. So I'm not going to say it, but I will say this, object of nothing. My dick's bigger than yours, John. Let's start right there.
Owned body.
Number two, John, I still whoop your ass back in college with you, that stupid ass trench coat and that fucking dumbass Prince Hakeem fucking rat tail you have. You look like John looks like a failed Virtua Fighter 4 creative character. He looks like everything wrong. He looks like everything wrong with what white people think blackness should be like. John is what you think of when you hear the word self-hating black person. John is so ugly that the Catholic Church has condemned his face. Anyway, moving on.
Well, I did want to go back up a little bit to what you had mentioned about what we were talking about in the 70s and the disconnect between those two generations and the absence of leadership. I bring him up a little bit on the show, but in 1969, I'm sure you know, that's when Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were killed. And they were gunned down.
Oh yeah, I've been driven by the house that happens because like every other black person in the Midwest, I have family in Chicago.
Right.
Oh, don't give me that look, black people. You know I'm right. Every black who lives in every other state, you have one or two cousins, maybe even an aunt who lives in fucking Chicago somewhere.
Yep. So at this time, just to back up and just give everybody some background. So Fred Hampton was 21, Mark Clark was 22, and they were both gunned down by 14 police officers when they were sleeping in their apartment in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then right about that time, yeah, I mean there was supposedly a raid under J. Edgar Hoover, but I mean it was an assassination, what it amounted to.
Mm-hmm.
And then
because J. Edgar Hoover was a fucking Nazi.
Right.
Yeah,
and then there was it was tied to a lot of the anti-socialist kind of movement that was going on at that time. Right, and so when
it was
yeah, and then around that time too, there was all those there was that whole what is it that they did this whole prosecution of Assata Shakur during that same period, right? It was around those within a couple of years of that.
Assata, she was the one that got broke out of prison and they got her to Cuba.
Right. So she's ended up hiding out in Cuba. She was another one of those prominent leaders from the Black Panther Party at the time.
I think she's still there. If she's still alive.
No, she is. She's 73. She still lives over there in Cuba. She was exiled over there. And the last thing
I wonder if we could get sanctuary in Cuba if they crack down on the left.
Well, part of the Cuban thought policies with the U.S. government now, Trump actually brought her up, and
really?
He was as of 2017. So President Trump gave a speech canceling the Cuban thaw policies under Obama. And then a condition of the New Deal between the United States and Cuba is the release of political prisoners and the return of fugitives from justice, specifically calling for the return of the cop killer Joanne Chesmart, which, that's Assata Shakur.
Wow.
I will simply say this to Trump about this whole thing of him saying, well, you need to give us all our fugitives. All right, Trump, fine. If I was there at the table, like, all right, fine, Trump, under this condition, we'll give you Assata Shakur. You have to send Jonathan Pollard back to Israel. Pick one, bitch. We'll give you her back, but you gotta take Jonathan's bitch ass back over there. Scraggly beard and all.
Yeah.
Come on, Mr. Deal Maker. What do you got for me? Let's see how you weasel your way out of this, you orange-haired son of a bitch.
But that's still kind of amazing that they'd still be going. I mean, she's in her 70s by now, and there's still, there's still a condition of
and I'm probably sure
negotiating with foreign policy between Cuba and the United States.
She's in her 70s, and two things I know to be a fact. One, I know she's definitely smarter than Trump, even at that age. And two, she probably looks better than Melania. I stand by this. I will never understand how everyone says Melania is that pretty. I will say this one more time. There has only ever been one first lady I have ever considered attractive, and that is Michelle. Moving on. I know her husband has terrible politics, but I have working eyes, all right? And the only one I ever found I would say, oh, she's pretty. Michelle. There you go. Anyway, back to the statement at hand. Going back to the whole thing you were saying about the FBI.
Right.
I want to say this quickly about the FBI. Huh?
Weren't we talking about the black chuds?
Yeah.
I don't know if we got.
Yeah, I'm tying that back, but I'm going to say this about J. Edgar Hoover. The FBI can't sit here and tell everyone that COINTELPRO and J. Edgar Hoover himself wasn't a fascist when their building is named after him. Their administration building is named after him. Yes, J. Edgar Hoover, a man who his entire career looked like J. Edgar Hoover, his whole career looked like he was gonna die in like a favela in Argentina.
Think about how the country works, though. Nobody gets discredited. Like, we still have fucking bases. They're still fighting over the Confederate generals, right? So,
exactly.
They're trying to clear the name of every dead American is a hero, right?
It's kind of hard to ignore J. Edgar Hoover if you're part of the FBI.
But again, Tony,
they rehabilitate everyone.
Yeah, but J. Edgar Hoover again looks like every old white guy that died an old man in Argentina during the 80s before a bunch of he looked like every old guy who died in Argentina during the 80s if like the Mossad didn't come there and drag him out in the middle of the night.
I mean, this dude, I don't know how much power he had over. They depicted in the movie that he had blackmail on every president that he served under. But just for point of reference, this dude was director of the FBI from 1924 to 1972.
Good Lord! My parents were born right.
That's through. I mean, just to read off the presidents that he served under. He started under Calvin Coolidge, then Herbert Hoover, FDR, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, and he died during the Nixon administration.
You know what would have been funny if he had lived just a little bit longer? I would have loved him to try to pull this same shit off under Carter. Because Carter would have cussed his ass out. Carter would have finally broke the nice guy rule and be like, now see here, Mr. Hoover, I may be a man of the Lord and the president, but I am still a man of the Navy and I will fight you from everybody. Yeah, and he's like, you wouldn't do that. And he's like,
after that, that's when they put those term limits on the FBI director too, though. So I mean, there has to be a reason for that.
Hold on. One more thing about Jimmy Carter and him fighting. Oh, one more thing about him and Jimmy Carter fighting.
Yeah.
J. Edgar Hoover shit talks him, and he's like, "Oh, you really think I'm playing? Billy, hold my jacket." Billy's just off on the side with a beer in one hand, be like, "Sure thing, Jimmy. Whoop his ass."
Let me see if I can switch this around somehow. No, I don't think I can.
And the fucked up part is that if Jimmy Carter and him got into a fight and he somehow managed to get Jimmy down, Billy would fuck him up. I got Billy taking J. Edgar out in like 2 hits. He's a Marine. He might be old, but he's still a Marine. I still got Billy fucking him up with that fist fight.
Let's see.
But anyway, going back to the chud thing.
Right, yeah, let's go back to the chud thing.
But going back to the whole generational gap. The generational gap is with my generation. It did become more cultural, but yeah, with guys, we did learn, actualization. I have a list. I'm sorry.
But I mean, and also that's why I brought up like those the Black Panther leaders too, because I feel like it would have made a difference. I just feel like it's obvious to say they would have made a difference to have had those people around to kind of bridge those gaps between those generations. I mean, because but losing somebody like Fred Hampton at the age of 21 when he was already creating these multicultural, multiracial, social unity kind of coalitions. and then and to speak about what you're bringing up is, there was less of an emphasis on these economic issues, right?
Yeah, and things did get bad in Chicago. I'm not going to try and pretend to speak to things I'm not fully aware on, but for those of you listening, I want everyone to go look into Billy would go for the takedown.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Kind of. Yeah.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying. But like I was saying, yeah, they would have helped. I'm not going to tend to speak to things I don't fully know,
Right.
but for everyone out there who wants to understand what the later years for Black people were like in Chicago specifically, a good starting point would be to look into some of the big name criminals of the time to give you a little idea of the economic situation, which would be people like Jeff Fort, Larry Hoover, Willie Lloyd. Those are pretty good ones. Like I'm not going to pretend to know everything about them, but they were, heads of the big gangs around Chicago. So if you want to go look into what happened with that, what things were like during those latter years, go look into their stories, especially Willie Lloyd's. I think Willie Lloyd is still alive, though. I won't spoil the ending, but yeah, I think he's still alive. The thing is that there has been a bit of a gap, and the reason why you see so much of Black liberals going more for like symbolism and looking at things like, worrying about income inequality or whatnot. Like, Matt, you've seen these arguments where you'll get in arguments with like K-hivers and wonder, how the fuck are you this detached from issues in the Black community?
Yeah.
We've all seen it, right? And you wonder. And the reason why you have those kinds of people who are this high level detached from the Black
like
community's issues. Huh?
What do you say, Matt? Like the college libs all kind of sound the same, right? Except for they just try to
it's a little worse than that. It's a little worse
in different ways, right? If it's like,
it's a little worse than that. It's a little worse than that because going back to the whole generational gap. One of the things that happened from the boomer generation is they kept impressing both Gen X and some millennials that they raised this idea that it's better to get a good job and, do good by white folks and live comfortably rather than try to rock the boat. Again, Tony, you've probably seen some variation of this in your own fam, in your own community.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with us, it's just like, it's kind of like a level of fear that is just disturbing because it's based out of a real fear, even though it sounds exaggerated. It's like, yeah, they might actually come and fucking murder all of you if they think you're a problem, and there's a long-standing history of that.
Yeah, that's also why I brought those things up.
Yeah, like we just and that's how you get these
own people.
Yeah, and that's how you get these kinds of libs, because you get these kinds of libs who are so incredibly detached because, again, you've heard the term PMC lib, professional managerial class. Yeah, that's what these are. But these are the ones that are very smug because they come from a community that historically a lot of them should not have made it as far as they did, but they did, and they feel, special. That's also where the idea of the talented 10th comes from, which was coined by W.B. Du Bois, about the idea that, Black people the smartest 10% of Black people would rise up and lead the Black community salvation, although W.B. Du Bois didn't really account for modern day factors like, integration and how capitalism would change in the coming decades, century. Like he didn't account for all those variables, so it has come back to bite the black community in the ass, because now you have this like self-important, smug class of people that think I'm the smartest, and you have this group of people who think I'm the smartest person, I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that, I'm all these different things. And they're like, well, the powers that be, they listen to people like me, not you, these angry militant black people. But you realize the reason they get more airtime and listening from those people, even though they're not going to do anything about what they're bringing up, they're just going to give them signifiers, not anything, tangible, is you. I think the best way to describe someone like my politics and someone like theirs is mine is still forming, mine is still fully grasping of things, but it's still a little more authentic because it's coming from a place of actual moral weight to it. Okay. Like it's actually built on something where it's like, I don't like how certain things exist in this world. I don't like these things, and if I can, I'll find a way to do something against it. The reason they get more time is this is a bad analogy because it's going to sound borderline racist. Oh God. It's like the difference between like going to like a really good taco truck and then like going to Taco Bell.
No, I understand.
Or like go.
No, I'll just say there's a joke about that where if a Mexican person considers Taco Bell good Mexican food, they need to turn in their carta.
Look, I only eat Taco Bell if it's like literally dead late at night, and that's the only thing Uber Eats will get for me. It's this or McDonald's. Pick one, bitch. That's literally the only time I'll eat that.
I'll just throw that one out there so I understand the analogy, bro.
Oh no, I was just trying not to come off as racist because I was going to either say like someone saying like like actually a good way to expand on it. It's like saying it's like the difference between like an authentic Italian restaurant and Pizza Hut or authentic Southern cuisine and KFC. Right. The reason I mention those three is because they're all owned by the same fucking company.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like KFC, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut are all owned by the same company. That's why if you go to certain parts of the country, they're all in the same fucking building. I'm not kidding, people.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. I've seen it. There was actually
they're all
for a
owned
while.
By...
There were a lot of combination KFC Taco Bells around here.
Oh, I remember we had one. Now that I think they also own Long John Silver's for some reason too.
Yeah. But
and I'm like, why? But yeah, it's like that. And the reason those people get that is, you have these people who have a very inauthentic, inoffensive message that they can all say, see, we're listening, we care, you're seen, you're heard, you're not doing anything. Well, we hear you. You're not doing anything. We're fucking dying out here. I have no... it's literally got to where like me and many other people have said this, motherfucker, what are you doing to help us? The cops are still not going to jail for shooting us in the middle of the streets for running away. Like it's not even like we're reaching for the gun, we're fucking running, and your first instinct is to put a 45 in my ass. Is that not a problem?
Well, this seems like a good point of any just to bring up this tweet that I caught before. So Obama on how the discovery of marks in college became inseparable from a strategy for picking up girls.
Okay, I've seen this tweet. Yeah, but I'll let you read it off if you want to read
it. He's fucking like every time there's a story about him in the media, it just makes him even like a bigger villain, right? So like he just everything about him just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, see, looking back, it's embarrassing to recognize the degree to which my intellectual curiosity those first 2 years of college paralleled the interests of various women I was attempting to get to know. Marx and Marcuse. I had something to say to the long-legged socialists who lived in my dorm, Fannin and Gwendolyn Brooks, for the smooth-skinned sociology major who never gave me a second look Folklot and Wolf for the ethereal bisexual who wore mostly black. As a strategy for picking up girls, my pseudo-intellectualism proved mostly worthless. I found myself in a series of affectionate but chaste friendships.
Okay, this is what I want to say about
just to pull this. This was a good tweet about that though. The next Obama's is in DSA right now trying to score.
Okay, I want to say that about this first.
All right.
First of all, every woman in DSA is expecting every guy there to try and get in their pants, regardless of if they believe in their politics. It's the DSA. It's like I get it. Huh?
I don't know how your chapter is.
Okay, let me put it this way. From what I've heard about other people's chapters, because the closest one to me is in like Detroit.
Okay.
But from what I've heard, yeah, there's guys around there, and the ones that, are attracted to women, at least try to be respectful. Of course, you still have those guys like what's his name? Of course, you still have guys like Jamie Kilstein who try to be a fucking dick. Which everyone always looks at me, why do you always bring up Jamie Kilstein? Because he's a good joke. He's a good punchline. That motherfucker had a bunch of shitty ass tattoos and got ousted for being like a fucking creep. Like, how do you get caught that easily by everybody in the middle of Me Too?
Oh.
Like, I'm not saying he should have gotten away with it. I'm saying they should have called him out. I'm saying, why did they not get you earlier if you're this stupid?
I don't know what you're talking about, but
Jamie Kilstein, he was this weird lefty comedian.
You know what?
Sounds like some good shit.
I think we're about to get into the point where you can wrap up though. We've been up for almost.
But to explain the whole thing with Black conservatives, you have to understand that the simple way to understand how you get this is, a lot of material needs are not being met, are not being answered, and the Black conservatism is rising up because not only are these things not being met, but there are a lot of cultural issues that are going a little bit left. Although I will say this for the record, a lot of the weird reactionary takes they have about a lot of things, including about women, are really fucking dumb. For example, let me go down the list and name my opinions with them so we can close this out.
All right.
Please stop saying that more, what's the word I'm looking for? There being more visible examples of trans and gay and lesbian, bisexual Black people in media. Please stop saying this. This is some weird plot to break up the Black community. I'm sick and tired of this shit. It's getting on my last fucking nerves. It's harmful. Please go look up the McMartin preschool trial and the entire satanic pact to understand why this is harmful. Next point. Whoever keeps saying among the manosphere that women should be forced to or do like they do. Apparently, there's some bullshit about how in China they have different laws for single moms. I don't believe it. If someone could prove that that's true, I'd love to see how they do that. But apparently, there's some sort of laws there that, if you're a single mom, the government pretty much treats you like a third-class citizen. I don't think it's true. So please stop saying that, because even if it is, it's still very fucking bad. You sound like one of the fucking lieutenants from The Handmaid's Tale. I said it. Third point.
All right.
Third point. Please, and this is probably my last one.
All right.
Please, for the love of God, can we as a community stop normalizing the idea that any man who shows basic human decency to a woman okay, maybe he's trying to get laid, but please stop calling him a simp or saying he's fucking weak because he just showed basic human decency. If she wants to fuck him, that's completely up to her.
Oh, wow.
But if we're gonna start calling every guy a simp just because he showed basic human decency to a woman, we are going down a very scary path, not just as a race, but as as human beings, that now being nice to half of the population is seen as some sort of weakness. Stop it, for the love of God. This is not going to end well.
All right. Well, go ahead. We'll go ahead and wrap it up there, Brady. Unless you want to get another word in, Matt.
No, just yeah, man, kind of lost me. I don't know where you were going with all that, but
yeah, but all right, everybody. Thanks for joining
I'm
up.
tired of seeing it all the time.
All right. Well, thanks for everybody for joining up on the stream. If you're not following us, not subscribing, go ahead and do that. You could look for our guest over here, Mr. HT Coyote. He's at Sigma Kush Waffle on Twitter. And other than that, then yeah, we'll be back on tomorrow. All right.
Yo.
Yeah.